And we are live. We are live. Hello, welcome everyone to the comeback of the open mic series, where you guys hop into the call and you guys share with me your hot takes, your theories, your questions. You share whatever it is that you want to share with me. God bless everyone here. All glory to God and to his only begotten Son, Christ Jesus, born of the Father before all ages. All glory to the Holy Spirit. Glory to the Father. Chat, how are we doing? How we doing, everybody? Thank you, Abigna. I appreciate that. Javi Berg, God bless you, brother. L, God bless. RBBP, God bless. Chat, how we doing? Yeah, guys, if anyone wants to come and share their theory, their prediction for 1152, whatever it is, guys, we have a link pinned. Okay, hold on. How do I? We have a link pinned. Whoops. We have a going to be how you guys share your theories. Okay, you go to the pinned link at the top of the stream chat, and you join StreamYard. And then what I want you guys to do is in StreamYard, you guys are going to see a private chat. If you guys want to join open mic, like the stream, then when you're in the backstage of StreamYard, answer these questions in the private chat. Okay, what is your One Piece topic? What is your take on it? And whether you want feedback or a counter theory, and also how to say your name. Okay. So, again, tell me what your topic is, what your take is on the topic, whether you want feedback or a counter theory, and how to say your name. Okay. Answer those questions in the private chat on StreamYard. That way I can know what we're about to get into. Okay, chat. But I hope everyone's doing great. And guys, I do actually have an announcement to make. I'm very excited, chat. I'm very excited for this announcement. Let me go ahead and post it, actually. All right, bada bing, it's posting. Bada boom. All right, chat. Announcement. You guys should be able to see my screen here. So if you guys see what I just posted, guys, new weekly stream series, rereading the entire One Piece manga. You guys know what to do. You guys know the drill. I'm putting the link in the stream chat right now. You guys should go like the tweet, go retweet it. We're going to start a brand new series. Okay, guys. So starting this Saturday on June 14th, every Saturday, we're going to be streaming and exploring from One Piece Chapter 1 all the way to the latest release. We're going to deep dive into hidden clues, foreshadowing, and Easter eggs, and we're going to theorize with the chat on epic twists. Okay, guys, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think this is something that you guys are going to be interested in. I think this is something you guys might be looking forward to. Okay, I hope you guys are looking forward to it, because you guys know early One Piece has so much foreshadowing. It just has so much lore. And if we go back to the very beginning, square one, and we go through the series, we go through the storyline together, not only can we relive pre-time skip One Piece, early One Piece, but more importantly, we're going to be able to cook theories together, chat. We're going to be able to cook theories together. We're going to go through, all of these important arcs. We're going to look at arcs like Skypiea, and we're going to, reread it together. And we're going to think like, oh man, this foreshadows Nika. This foreshadows Joy Boy. This foreshadows Emu. All right. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So chat, starting this Saturday. Okay. We're going to be doing it weekly. I'm going to try my hardest to not miss any streams. Okay. Weekly, every single Saturday. So whether we have a chapter that week or we don't have a chapter that week, we will be rereading the story together. Okay. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And yeah, guys, again, if anyone wants to join the open mic, it is very simple, guys. The link is at the top of the stream chat. It's pinned right now. If you want to join the open mic, like the stream first. Then when you're backstage in StreamYard, answer these in the private chat. Your One Piece topic, your take on it, whether you want feedback or a counter theory, and how to say your name. Okay, we're going to be taking lots of questions. I would prefer if you guys had questions and comments or whatever pertaining to One Piece. But if you guys have questions about other stuff, then I guess feel free to ask. Okay. It looks like we do have 2 people backstage. If anyone else wants to join, guys, I highly suggest getting into the StreamYard because we might not do another open mic for a while. We're going to be very booked. We're going to have a short summary, long summary, fan translation, official, and 5 streams pretty much. This new series of rereading the story. So we're going to be very booked. I don't know when the next time we'll have an open mic will be. Maybe we'll do the open mic streams during the break weeks or something, but you guys should really take advantage of this. So seeing how the first person that I saw join into the StreamYard was Edison, we're actually going to start with Edison. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yo, what's good, brother?
Yeah, I got a theory about the sapphire scale disease.
Okay, well, what's your theory on the sapphire scale?
That I believe it was a biological weapon used during the Void Century War, and the government erased all mentions of it. Hence why Kuma had such difficulty getting Bonnie diagnosed with the disease.
So it's a biological weapon.
The sapphire scale.
Yeah. So you think that the government made the disease?
The 20 Kings? Yeah.
They made the
Why would Saturn have a sample of it to affect Ginny?
Well, what is your full reasoning of this? Like,
well, since the government's rather secretive, they probably did a purge of all weapons in the course of the Void Century. You know how atrocities are committed on both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
go on?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like super rare and very sparsely documented. Like the doctor that finally discovered it, yeah, he might have had records of it, but it's probably dating back from the Void Century. Hence why it's super rare.
You know, me and Donovan Ascension have been this out before. I mean, it makes a lot of sense that the government would have some kind of hand in the blue sapphire scale disease, because if you think about other diseases in One Piece, like the white lead disease, we could see how the government also used that to their advantage, and they allowed people to pretty much poison themselves. But I do think there is an interesting tie from the world government to the blue sapphire scale disease when you think of the lens of the sun. So we know, like, when people step out into the sun with the blue sapphire scale disease, they get the sapphires and they pretty much die. I think that could be a play on having people avoid sun god Nika, because out of everything in the world, they don't want people to know about the Void Century, Joy Boy, and Nika. So, you know, tying into what you're saying, if essentially they created this disease, or even allowed it to promulgate, it would make a lot of sense to have that there to keep people and to deter people away from Nika. But another point that I would offer to you is when you look into black magic and those types of people that are into that kind of stuff, they actually use sapphires for their rituals. So what do you think about that?
I believe it's plausible. But they can make magic bioweapon as well.
DJ BS with the 16 months. God bless you, brother. Thank you so much, DJ. All right, Edison. Well, what else you got for us? Because I'm kind of on board with that, but I want to know, is there more?
I think I got one more for what happened in Marriage Rock 200 years prior with Emmett. There must have been a Nika fruit user that activated the drums of reparation.
So you think there's multiple drug lords? Or just
multiple Nika fruit. Well, I'm in a pretty noisy area.
So you think there? Okay, if there was a previous Nika user that triggered EMF 200 years ago, do you think that character would count as Joy Boy?
Well, in a sense, yes. There must have been countless a bunch of Nika users between the 800 years. All of them failed, and pending the movie is successful. But still, think about it. Nika must have some, and there's also another theory about the latest chapter. Maybe Luffy knows about Nika because of the Nika fruit subconsciously telling him.
He knows about the Nika fruit because the fruit was subject.
No. He knows about Emu because the
he
Nika fruit is subconsciously telling him.
I mean, do you think if that was true that he would then know Joy Boy and Nika? Because it seems a little weird that he would have the fruit and then have some kind of knowledge about Emu, but then not have knowledge about Nika or Joy Boy.
Yeah, it's probably subconscious. Since Jupiter said zone devils have a will of their own.
Yo, so the interesting thing, the reason why I ask that is because it's like a fair question, right? If you would argue that Luffy knows subconsciously about Emu because he ate the Nika fruit, then it would make a lot of sense that he would also know of Joy Boy and of Nika too. Because, like, how could he have the Nika fruit and know about Emu, but then not know about Joy Boy and Nika when that's what the fruit was to begin with, right? But see, the problem with that is that when we had the sorry, it's kind of loud in your background, bro. Are you able to do like a echo cancellation or something?
I'm sorry, I'm passing through construction workers. I'm walking outside and all that.
Okay, so we know that during the Vegapunk broadcast in the Egghead Island arc, E-Myth actually looked at Luffy and called Luffy Joy Boy, and Luffy's response is, "Who is Joy Boy? Who is that?" Yeah. So it seems kind of weird that it would be weird that Luffy would eat the Nika fruit and have some kind of knowledge of Emu, but then not know anything about.
I mean, he doesn't know Emu personally. I mean,
okay, so by knowing him subconsciously, what does that mean?
Yeah, like having a familiar presence but not knowing who it is. That kind of feeling.
So, what would that do for the plot exactly? Like, if Luffy had conscious knowledge of Emu, like, what does that serve?
I have no idea. I haven't really thought of it that far.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you want to share with us? Because, I mean, I don't know.
Back to Mary Schwab 200 years ago. Well, about the Nika fruit users. Yeah, there has to been a Nika fruit user 200 years ago to activate unit after 600 years after the Void Century.
Okay, I actually have a theory on this. I never put it out. I think I was writing the script to it and I just got sidetracked. But I do have a theory about why E-Myth woke up 200 years ago, and I'm not sure if you're down to hear it.
I'm willing to hear it.
Okay. So we know that during the during the Whole Cake Island arc, they actually referred to the Tamate Bako box in Fishman Island as a national treasure. And we know that within the Tamate Bako box, which translates to precious box, it actually housed the steroid pills. And we know when the Hody Jones and his pirates ate the steroid pills, they became stronger, but more importantly, their hair turned white and they aged a lot. So when you think about Luffy going in Gear 5 against Kaido, notice how he has white hair, he's stronger, and when he gets really tired in Gear 5, he ends up aging, right? Even if it's temporarily. So what I'm
Yeah.
pointing at is that I believe when you think about the Tamate Bako box in Fishman Island, think about Joy Boy's apology in Fishman Island, think about Noah's Ark in Fishman Island. What if 200 years ago, the Tamate Bako box in Fishman Island didn't only hold the energy steroid pills, which relate to the Nika fruit, but also housed the Nika fruit as well? And the interesting thing is we don't know where Emeth came from. All we know is that Emeth attacked Marijwa. But where could he have came from? I have a theory. I have a hypothesis that the Tamate Bako box, it had the pills and it had the Nika fruit together in the box because they kind of relate to each other. They parallel from each other. But more importantly, Emeth was in Fishman Island underwater. And what happened was someone 200 years ago fed the Nika fruit they fed the Nika fruit to Emeth, and that's how he powered up. And he climbed on the red line, attacked Marijwa, died, and then the fruit went out again.
That's pretty implausible because it would have taken 800 years later for Vegapunk to discover that he could find a way to have devil fruits eat. Objects eat devil fruits. So that's kind of a hole in that one.
No, even if Vegapunk didn't realize until nowadays that objects can eat devil fruits, that doesn't mean it didn't happen in the past. Wasn't there a user or something in Wano that ate it was a teapot. A teapot in Wano had a raccoon devil fruit. And then I think there was also in the Alabasta Kingdom, another object had a devil fruit. So whether Vegapunk got it now,
but you could say that Mr. Four Miss Merry Christmas had knowledge of Vegapunk's discovery for Lasso.
See, but that's the thing. I don't think people have to know from Vegapunk in order for it to exist. If you think that is the case, like no one could possibly have an object eat a devil fruit, you would have to prove why they need to know that from Vegapunk before it happens. And I don't know how you would do that.
Probably science books, science news articles. The government publishes it in their newspapers.
You don't think that, but you don't think even by accident that could happen? Like maybe it was unintentional, or maybe
that's probably in the realm of possibility.
Okay. Because I mean I don't know how else to put it. I mean, I think it would make a lot of sense that the Tamate Bako box had the Nika fruit and the pills in it since they're so similar to each other. Plus the Noah's Ark is in the same island. Plus Joy Boy's apology is in the same island. And in the Whole Cake Island arc, we know that in Fishman Island, they passed the Tamate Bako box down through the generations as a national treasure. So if Emeth just randomly one day out of the blue started attacking what do you call it? Marijwa. It makes a lot of sense that that's because he had the Nika fruit. He was in Fishman Island. That's where Joy Boy left him. Joy Boy pretty much went up.
If a fishman or mermaid or merfolk ate the Nika fruit, somehow awakened Emeth once again to attack Marijwa, but eventually died because, you know, fishmen who eat devil fruits are unable to swim. They're magnets on a fridge.
Okay, so let me put it to you this way. If someone fed the Nika fruit to Emeth, would he power up?
I don't know.
You don't know? Really? I would. I mean, me personally, I would say if someone.
Yeah, but we haven't seen an object eat a devil fruit on screen, so it's up to people's imaginations.
Right? It could be done, right? Like people that live in Wano, a closed-off country, they don't know anything about the outside world. They have teapots eating raccoon devil fruits.
Yes.
Yeah. So then back to my question. If you fed, or however the process goes, if Emeth, a dead robot, ate the Nika fruit, do you think he would power up?
I believe so.
Okay, so
briefly.
my next question would be, isn't that a simpler explanation than some other random person eating the Nika fruit? And now we have a whole nother Joy Boy that we have to explain in order to power Emeth up to go climb the Marijois and then attack Marijois and die. And then also we have to then talk about that new Nika fruit user and explain who he is and then how he died as well.
There might probably, but who thinks what if the Nika fruit wasn't at Fishman Island at all?
Yeah, that's 100% possible. But given the history of the Tamate Bako box, plus Noah's Ark being there, plus Joy Boy's apology being there, I think it's actually reasonable that the Nika fruit was in the Tamate Bako box. Look at the similarities between the energy steroids and the Nika fruit. How do we not know that Joy Boy went to Fishman Island and he's like, all right, I'm writing an apology down for the future generations. I'm gonna die here. And you know what? I'm actually gonna leave. I'm gonna leave a present to Fishman Island. I'll leave this Tamate Bako box. It's gonna have the Nika fruit and some pills that the previous Vegapunk of the Void Century, they made some pills based off of my fruit. I'm gonna put the pills and the fruit in the box. Boom, 200 years ago, somehow, some way, Emeth eats the fruit. That's why he powered up. So now we don't need to explain in a whole nother Joy Boy number 3. And then he eats the fruit. He climbs on the red line. He attacks Marijois. The robot dies, and the fruit goes out again.
Yeah, but it doesn't explain why you have to preset AI in him. Wouldn't he have memories of eating that Nika fruit?
That's a good question.
Those are good, very legit questions, and I don't believe that Emeth was the second known Nika fruit user, because in the span of 800 years, there must have been a bunch of Nika fruit users who haven't awakened it. You know what the government propaganda saying is the gum fruit and all that, and yeah.
Fair enough.
That makes it why the government and Emu wanted to get the Nika fruit.
All right, fair enough. Is there anything else you want to share before we move on to our next caller?
No, I do not. I'm out of fairies.
Okay, well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what. I'll let some more people into the calls, and if you end up having another idea, try to get back into the queue.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Good talking to you. See you soon. All right. We got Wing Wei in the chat. God bless. Abigna. God bless you, brother. Javi. God bless. God bless everyone here. Zero. God bless. No one put a theory about Luffy's mom again. Maybe Luffy has not developed his devil fruit to the point to know that he is Joy Boy. I don't know. Maybe he needs maybe the only way to know if he's Joy Boy or not is through being told in the history and something like that. All right, let's move on to our next caller, chat. We got Mr. Elijah. Elijah, how's it going, brother?
What's going on? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
All right, yeah. So let me see. What was my theory again? All right, I had a theory that Luffy has not used his devil fruit to the full potential and his hockey. So I think this is like the third time he's probably witnessed a supreme type hockey from when it was Shanks on Wano, Emu just now, and the little hockey knot in Joy Boy. So I'm seeing Luffy witness these things, and he's probably like, dang, that's how you use that type of hockey? You know, he probably just been using hockey bursts, knocking people out. He never directed that energy on that. And I believe he not using his devil fruit. I think he's just been making up just random names of attacks, not really, putting no thought into it, no technique. He just, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Just knocking everybody out. And I think that's the way that he uses devil fruit and how he can, like, materialize things and rubberize them. Like, I think that he never learned how to do it. He just figured it out and just instilled it. The way the hockey flow through an object, he can, punch Kizaru through his head. But I think eventually he'll be able to like rubberize their legs and like tie them together in a little bow tie, stuff like that. And the way he's gonna have to defeat Emu is he have to first uses hockey, you know, to nullify his powers. And I think he's the only one with enough hockey to actually do that.
Okay. So, I got a few questions. So,
Mhm.
with let's start with the hockey part. So, do you think that when we talk about Joy Boy's verse of hockey from the Not on E-Myth, and we talk about Emu's hockey that we see through Gunko, do you think that's another form of hockey, or do you think that it's just using conkers to a higher degree?
I think it's I think it's a higher degree. I think it's like if you have like a singer, he can go up 4 or 5 octaves, but then there's somebody who can take it to the seventh octave. You're like, wow, that's amazing. So I think it's just like, okay, you're a pitcher for minor league, but take it to the major league level. Throw that 99 mile per hour fastball, So I think he's just not fully peaked yet. It's just the beginning.
Now, how do you see Luffy reaching a level like that? Does he have to be trained by someone like a parallel from Rayleigh, maybe this time Scopper? Or do you think he just has to, I don't know, continue fighting?
Probably like something tragic. Probably
Something
somebody
tragic.
die. Yeah, somebody gotta die.
So basically, what you're telling me is Shanks is going to bleed out in Luffy's arms, and then Luffy's going to unlock a higher Conqueror's Haki.
Nah, probably Usopp gonna die.
Usopp.
Yeah.
Usopp. Wow. I'm not going to lie. That right there is a hot take, bro.
I think like maybe I'm thinking too logically. I don't see Shanks dying. I see him, becoming the Pirate King first, maybe. But
You see
I,
Shanks becoming the Pirate King first.
yeah, like the Shadir Sanders thing, like they know that he's up next, Luffy, but then they like name drop Shanks as the Pirate King or something, and the whole world go along with it. And Shanks don't even agree to it, but they just
Wow.
name.
Okay, well, my other question was Luffy not using the Nika fruit to the best of his ability, or using it, like how maybe the past Joy Boy did. So how do you see Luffy like how is he going to use it, in a better way or the right way? It's kind of similar to the first question with like Luffy leveling up his hockey.
Um, I
Because
know.
I'm
I think.
go
I
ahead.
think. I think the biggest theory behind that is Luffy using weapons because he's not the type to actually, have no deadly attacks. But I think it's going. I think it got to get that far for Luffy. I think he got to like materialize weapons. Like he got gum gum pistol, gum gum spear. If he can like materialize a pistol out his hand instead of overusing his energy, you know what I mean? Like, and maybe he can be cartoon about it. His bullets can be fish, little rubber fish or something. But he can go gum gum Gatling gun, pull out a gun, and then start shooting fish like Katakuri or something. I don't know, but yeah, I just don't see him. We can all think of a new move he can make up, but he just go with the flow whenever he fights.
Okay. Well, because I've also been thinking too, how is Luffy gonna level up, his Nika fruit and use it to a higher degree? Because when Luffy unlocked Gear 5, he did say that it's his pinnacle, and we know it's his awakening. So, but like we also have to add to that is like the whole point of Gear 5 is that Luffy has the power of imagination, so it's almost limitless. But the fact that it is limitless actually makes it hard to figure out what he's going to do, if that makes sense. Because like we don't know what to expect. So if we don't know what to expect, it's almost like how do we predict how he will level up besides just like fighting people?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not really sure how that would be pulled off.
Yeah, it's almost like if he don't fight somebody stronger than him, he has no chance to level up on his own. Like he's not just training in the woods again. He's on an adventure. So
Right. Um, so I mean, of course, like Luffy's future battles will be against people that are stronger than him, right? That's generally how it goes. He's going against people that are stronger than him, and during the fight, he has to use new attacks and he has to level himself up and push himself further until he overtakes whoever the antagonist is. And I think like everyone could agree that Luffy's going to fight Blackbeard. So then that would necessarily mean that Blackbeard is stronger than Luffy. And then I would say Luffy's gonna fight Emu. I feel like everyone should say Luffy's gonna fight Emu, but then that would mean Emu's higher than Luffy. So would it just be as simple as Luffy fighting Blackbeard and then unlocking new methods of using Gear 5 and Luffy fighting Emu and unlocking new methods of Gear 5? Would it be that simple?
Oh, maybe no. Maybe it's Blackbeard sneaking up right now to fight with fake Emu against Luffy right now. And then because Emu is stronger than Blackbeard, the real Emu will be the final fight, and the Blackbeard would have to come before that. So since Emu is in Gunko's form, maybe that'll make it like maybe this the battle, the all for one, the you know what I mean, like the what Oda was talking about, like it's gonna be a big old war. Maybe this was gonna happen. Red Hair Shanks on Blackbeard Trail because he got close to Elbaf. He did. They swinging around coming to Elbaf, so he probably following back behind Blackbeard. Blackbeard witnessed Luffy versus Gunko or Emu. Gives him his deal, like, hey, you want it to be this and that? Well, help me get rid of these pirates, you know? Boom, pop off the Blackbeard versus the Straw Hat. Probably in like 10 chapters or something, you know? Woo.
Okay, so I want to ask you then, because the last time we saw Crocodile, or my mind's all over the place. The last time we saw Caribou, he was talking to Blackbeard, and it was pretty clear that Caribou was going to tell Blackbeard about where the ancient weapons are. And we know by deducing post time skip, we know by deducing post time skip and the travels between Luffy, Lockwood, Blackbeard, and Shanks, that the closest ancient weapon to Blackbeard minus Uranus is actually Pluton. So my question to you is, well, firstly, let's start here. Do you believe Blackbeard or his crew members will go for Pluton?
I think definitely they got that big giant dude. He gonna carry whatever on his back. So yeah, that's a good possibility.
So, because I know you're talking about Blackbeard himself coming to Elbaf, so you think the raid on Wano from the Blackbeard crew wouldn't be Blackbeard himself; it would just be his subordinates?
Yes.
Or do you think Blackbeard would have to go to Wano and then leave Wano and go to Elbaf?
I think Blackbeard will go to Elbaf, but I'm not sure which. Maybe like what's the guy with the sword? Shiru.
Sure, yeah.
Like he sent like the swordsman and maybe like the doctor and stuff. Maybe he sends like a strategic group to sneak in and out. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's where you go with that, to sneak in and out of Wano, use the swordsman that's invisible. I mean, that kind of writes itself.
Yeah, I mean, it would make a lot of sense if, as you said, he sends Shiryu, but then also Kuzan to Wano, because firstly, we know like when the Blackbeard pirates invaded Whole Cake Island, it wasn't Blackbeard himself, it was his subordinates. And then when the Blackbeard pirates invaded Egghead to touch Saturn, again, it wasn't Blackbeard, it was his subordinates. So the reason why I say Kuzan and Shiryu specifically is because when you think about Wano, who's the only people defending it? It's going to be Yamato and then swordsmen, as like Momonosuke and the Scabbards. The reason why I would say Kuzan and Shiryu's going to, it probably sounds obvious by now, it's that Yamato has an ice wolf kind of devil fruit,
True.
and that would be a cool matchup to see against Kuzan. And then you take Shiryu, who's a swordsman, and have him fight against Momonosuke and the Scabbards, which also could try to give some backstory or some lore to Shiryu. Maybe he is a Kurazumi, or maybe he's a Kazuki or something like that. Maybe he's from,
Okay.
you know, he has.
You cooking. Can you smell what evil is cooking? That boy said the ice mythical versus Kuzan. Damn.
Yeah, make Shiryu, because you know Shiryu hasn't had too much action. You know,
Right.
you know, throw him in there. But see, the thing is I almost want to say that there should be a third person, and the third person's like the elusive one. It's like the one that's, you know, in the shadows that sneaks to Pluton, while
Pigeon
Kuzan,
boy.
who are the ones fighting.
Yeah, the pigeon boy that can fly.
Oh,
Lafitte.
Lafitte. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Now,
Interesting. So they would roll the Wano, and Blackbeard himself would show up to Elbaf.
exactly. He would confront Emu about his status in the world.
Okay, so then I want to ask you then, because we know in the narrative of Elbaf, there seems to be like this really big thing about who's the sun god. You have Road fighting over it. You have Loki fighting over it. Do you think it's important for Luffy to get Shine in Elbaf so that they know who the true sun god is?
I think it's important, but you know, Oda, he'll probably do something slick like give the credit to somebody else, you know, to try to hide that Luffy just went crazy. Like how he gave it up to Smoker, or you know, like he'll, you know, give the credit to
Oh
others.
yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. Because who would want some pirates to be regarded as, you know, heroes?
Well, okay, I mean, like, in the sense that the citizens of Elbaf know who the sun god is. Like, I see what you're saying by you know, people being regarded as a hero, but in Alabasta, that was through like the Marines and the world government and the news propaganda. You know, having
But that's dangerous because that might flip Emu off. Like, y'all know too much, send in the heavenly killer bullets or something. Yeah, no. If they find out an Emu there and Emu knows that they know too much, he might just, because he already at in his last straw. He fed up. He impatient. Yeah, nah, Emu will flash and everybody will have to die, or Luffy will have to save everybody. It would be, yeah, it'd be on the line then.
Do you think there's a possibility that the citizens of Elbaf would know Luffy's the true sun god, but Emu doesn't really catch on to the fact that they know? Like, does Emu have to know that they know?
No, she don't, or he don't. No, I wouldn't say so. They could, yeah, because a lot of times we see the citizens were like they'll lie to the government face. You know, they're oh, like whenever what's that, the Dressrosa.
Oh yeah, okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
But like it maybe he can sense how happy they are and they're not in fear anymore. You know. Because I mean,
Okay.
they had a desperate time right now where they basically need a god to show up.
Okay, well, let me ask you then. If Blackbeard comes to Wano and starts fighting against Gunko, how, or not Wano, if he comes to
Yeah,
Elbaf, I keep saying Wano. If Blackbeard comes to Elbaf and, you know, Luffy, Gunko, and Blackbeard are all fighting, how do you see Elbaf ending then?
maybe maybe a Blackbeard comes, tries to join the fight, realizes, oh crap, Luffy went giant Gear 5 mode. Hold up, steals a poneglyph, laughs, he ha ha ha, and says, I'm going to get the One Piece, while leaving Emu to get beat down by Luffy, and they in a rush to chase after him or something like that.
Okay. So, does Law have the poneglyph from Zoe?
No, he lost
Okay.
it all. Him and Mechanical Hand, they lost him.
Kid. Okay, so I know Law and Kid, I agree with you. They had the poneglyph from Wano. But my question is, does Law have the poneglyph from Zoe?
And maybe Blackbeard already has it. Maybe he did.
When do you think that would have been after Luffy left Zoe? Because I feel like if Blackbeard went to Zoe first, I feel like Luffy would have heard about that, right?
No, facts. And then Law, like, we see Law sneak off, like, with Nico Robin a couple times. So he known to go digging around. So he could have had it.
Interesting.
His devil fruit is like a cheat code. You want to rob a bank.
Okay, well, one thing that you could use in your favor is, during the Egghead broadcast from Vegapunk did pose the question that maybe the wrong person gets the One Piece. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and he was hoping that, Luffy was the one.
Okay. Yeah, because one thing that like really holds me back from these, because I've thought about these things before and I've heard of this kind of take before, Blackbeard rushing to get the One Piece. I feel like most people have kind of thought about that, but I just keep wondering, how would he have gotten the poneglyph from Zoe? Also, now that I think about it, what about Whole Cake he already got because of because when I think about how Blackbeard doesn't have the poneglyph, or presumably doesn't have the poneglyph from Zoe, that's why I would argue that that's part of the reason why him and Luffy would have to fight. Because if Blackbeard doesn't have the poneglyph from Zoe, and he somehow knows that Luffy does, and Blackbeard wants to get the One Piece, then it would make sense that Blackbeard and Luffy fight for the Zoe poneglyph. But then you also got to think, like, what's in it for Luffy? And what I would pose is that Luffy has the poneglyph from Zoe, which is the only one that Blackbeard needs, and then Blackbeard has the fourth road poneglyph, which is the only one Luffy would need. So what if the final road poneglyph was actually on Pirate Island, Hachinosu, and that's the biggest reason why Blackbeard chose that island, amongst other reasons, of course, but the biggest reason. And now when Luffy and Blackbeard fight, the gain for Blackbeard is the Zoe poneglyph, so that Blackbeard has all four. But then the gain for Luffy is the Hachinosu poneglyph, which would give Luffy all four. What do you think about that?
So a meetup on Hachinosu, Blackbeard trying to get the rest of his crew together. That's on their little side missions before they shoot out to get the One Piece. Maybe after attempting to steal it, and maybe Redhead Shanks does show up and just scares him off and he doesn't get it. But then, like, he steals Chopper or something, or he tells him that we got Garp, and if he want his grandpa, bring the poneglyph or something.
Garp, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, one thing that I would say to support that idea is we know for certain that Shanks is chasing Blackbeard. And even though Shanks did have the comment about claiming the One Piece, that doesn't mean that he can't chase Blackbeard at the same time. Because maybe because of Shanks's position in the world and because of his circumstance, it necessitates him chasing Blackbeard to claim the One Piece. Because then you would have to reconcile the fact that Shanks went to Wano because he thought Blackbeard was there. But then after the whole Wano situation, he also left Elbaf and he was asking his crew if they had information where Blackbeard was.
So he went to Wano because Zao was there, and he probably wasn't trying to really, he was just worried about that elephant, maybe, I ain't think of that because when did Zao leave? Like 2 days or a day before or something?
I don't remember, but what I'm pointing at is that I'm pretty sure Shanks was saying that he only went to Wano because he thought Blackbeard was going to be there. So, like, what I'm saying is that he's chasing Blackbeard. So if Blackbeard did come to Elbaf, it would make sense that Shanks might also come too, assuming that Shanks is able to continuously follow Blackbeard. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, because they got to be close to at least a 2-day boat ride to Hachinosu.
Okay.
So if they wanted to come there, shoot to Wano, you know what I mean? Like, they have that possibility, because Shanks must know they close.
Okay. I just want to announce really quick, chat. If anyone else wants to join the open mic, guys, like the stream first. Then at the top of the stream chat, we have a StreamYard link. Okay. Join the StreamYard link. And when you're in backstage of the StreamYard, answer these questions in the private chat, guys. What is your One Piece topic? What is your take on it? Whether you want feedback or a counter theory, and how to say your name, chat. I'm accepting all callers. You guys can ask whatever it is you'd like to ask. But Elijah, is there anything else you want to share?
No, sir. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, of course. And I could pull you back in if you do have some other things you want to talk about. I just have to go through a membership and a super chat.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. All right, chat. Good talk with Edison. Good talk with Elijah. Got some interesting stuff from them. As I said, guys, feel free to join. Ask any One Piece question or questions about other things if you guys really want to. I'll accept any questions about the Christian faith. I'll accept any questions about the Catholic Church. Ask me whatever you want. I'm here to answer. No ChatGPT. But we do have MD Luffy with the 10. Thank you so much, brother. God bless you, MD Luffy. Thank you so much. MD Luffy says, Oda showed that a Zoan fruit can be duplicated, which is Kaido's devil fruit. I think it is a setup for the eventual reveal that the good Nika fruit being a duplicate of a evil devil, and then the message got cut off. I'm trying to find where it was cut off. So, okay. So, it would be a duplicate of an evil devil fruit, or a devil fruit, I guess. So a devil fruit. The weird stretchy body may be a bug, not a feature. Okay, so are you saying that the good version of the Nika fruit is defected, and that the original real one is not defected? Because then my question would be, who has the one that's not defected? Emu? That would actually be a problem, because that would mean that Luffy actually has a fake Nika fruit and Emu has the real Nika fruit. I mean, that would actually boggle my mind. I'm not sure how I would reconcile that. Let me reread the message just in case I misunderstood you. Oda showed that a Zoan fruit can be duplicated. For an example, Kaido's fruit and Momonosuke's fruit. Okay, so Zoans can be duplicated. He says, I think it is a setup for the eventual reveal that the good Nika fruit being a duplicate of a evil devil fruit. The weird stretchy body may be a bug, not a feature. Okay, so you would be saying that Luffy has the fake Nika fruit then, right? Is that what you're saying? That would actually, wow. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I do like the idea of like a twin devil fruit, though. Like a good version and an evil version. I do like that. I do like that. Luffy having the good version, Emu having the bad. But what throws me off is the idea that his stretchy body might be a bug, not a feature. Because when you think about it being a bug, not a feature, it makes me think that the Nika fruit Luffy has is defected, right? Because it's buggy. But then that would kind of point to the idea that Luffy has a fake Nika fruit. You get what I'm saying? What do you think, chat? What do you think, MD Luffy? If I misunderstood you or I butchered your theory or anything, MD Luffy, please clarify. I don't want to butcher what you're saying or anything like that. Just let me know. Thank you for the 10, though. God bless. And chat, I know you guys have questions in the stream chat. I highly suggest you guys join the StreamYard. Guys, join the StreamYard. The link is at the top of the stream chat. Just join. Have a good microphone. Have a working microphone. I'm pretty sure you guys could use your phone. Just hop in with your phone. join the StreamYard, and share what it is you guys want to talk about. And to those of you that are just now tuning in, I will remind you guys of a new announcement. Okay, new announcement. Guys, new weekly stream series. Okay, we have a new weekly stream series on the channel, guys. A new weekly stream series. Rereading the entire One Piece manga. Starting Saturday, June 14th, every Saturday, join me live to explore from chapter 1 to the latest release. Deep dive into hidden clues, foreshadowing, and Easter eggs. Theorize with chat on epic twists. Don't miss out, guys. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be super, super fun. We're going to look at the early version of One Piece, the early arcs of One Piece, and we're going to be able to reread and, relive the pre-time skip glory of One Piece. And we're going to be able to, look at the older arcs like Skypiea, I don't know, Enies Lobby, Marineford, revisit those older arcs. And we can look at it through the lens of what we know now with Nika, Joy Boy, Emu, Vegapunk, the Void Century, Ancient Kingdom. It'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to start this on Saturday, guys, June 14th. For me, it is currently, I guess for everyone here, it should be June 11th today. Okay. So this Saturday, we're going to begin this new weekly series. Okay, chat? Look forward to that. I hope you all look forward to it. And chat, thank you so much for the support. If you guys want to continue going above and beyond, guys, use the Stream Elements link. You guys know YouTube takes over half the super chats and donations. So do you think the real Nika fruit is with Emu? Did I understand correctly? Hold on, because I think, MD Luffy said Emu or Blackbeard. Okay, so, MD Luffy, are you saying that Luffy has the fake Nika fruit and then Emu or Blackbeard has the real? Okay, so my question would be with Blackbeard, right? He would have the real Nika fruit. Well, I don't think it would be the Gura Gura no Mi because that doesn't really have anything to do with the sun. But then when you think about the Yami Yami no Mi, that seems like it's the total opposite of the sun. You know what I mean? The Yami Yami no Mi is like void and darkness. I feel like that's the exact opposite of the sun. When you think about the sun, it's, bright, very hot, fire. But then like a black hole is like the total antithesis. But I don't know, MD Luffy. Maybe I'm misunderstanding you. If anyone else wants to join the StreamYard, guys, please do join the StreamYard. Share your One Piece question and comment in the StreamYard what your take is, what your question is, and what's your position on the question. Yo, Our Way, FYC, God bless you. Thank you, brother. You too, man. Do you think Robin is still a high target? Yes. Or will her bounty drop since more? No, definitely not drop. Has there ever been a One Piece character where their bounty dropped? If that happened before, that has to be like a one-off thing. I can't even think of a time where someone's bounty. Did Chopper's bounty drop or something like that? All right, his bounty remains low. I don't know. Her bounty dropping, that seems extremely weird. I don't know why it would drop. She's definitely a high target. I mean, she could read the poneglyphs, right? That's an extreme threat to the world government. I'm not regular with your stream, but I want to ask you, God bless you, Tinu. I want to ask you why you're not uploading videos recently. Okay, you could do ! Inactive, but I mainly stream. Okay, One Piece streamer. Okay, is Emu going after the Nika fruit? Maybe Emu isn't going after it because he has the original Nika fruit. I think he is going after it, but in the sense of erasing it, right? When we look at how the world's government wants to extinguish a light, I think the Japanese manga actually kind of refers to it as a flame, but the English translations, they adapt it as like light. So I think you can kind of point towards his hatred of Nika and the fruit. And then you also think about the mural, right? The mural in 1138. It talks about how in the first world, the enslaved prayed, the earth god raged, and it seemingly fought with the sun god. So again, that kind of points toward Emu's problems with Nika and hating the Nika fruit. And then some people would even look at the second world of the 1138 mural, where it says that man killed the sun and became God. Now, they would actually argue that it's referencing Nika there, but I would actually disagree. When it talks about man killed the sun and became God, the thing is when they say sun, they don't say sun god. They just say sun. And if you look at the rest of the mural in 1138, hold on, let me actually pull it up. When you look at the rest of the mural in 1138, it's interesting because there are other moments in the mural where it says sun god, but it doesn't always say sun. And if you guys read my theory on Twitter the other day about how the ancient kingdom most likely abused the mother flame, it makes a lot of sense that when we read the mural and we see sun, it's actually talking about mother flame, as well as like the fact that in the Egghead Island arc, when Vegapunk was giving his testimony, when he was giving his announcement, what did he say? He was going on a whole rant, a whole tangent about mother flame. And then he's like, okay, by the way, this is when I committed my first sin. Then he goes on to say how he was researching this endless energy source that would stop wars. It would be able to fuel everything, right? But the problem is he flew too close to the sun. So that kind of language shows you that it's taking inspiration from Greek mythos, like Icarus, who flew too close to the sun. He touched the sun. Now, when you think about the 1138 mural, what does it say here? The enslaved prayed and the sun god, or I'm sorry, before that, mankind succumbed to greed and touched the forbidden sun. So I think when it talks about touching the forbidden sun here, it's talking about Mother Flame, which is the same exact language that Vegapunk was using talking about Mother Flame. But yeah, if you just read the first world, second world, third world here, look, in the first world, it says forbidden sun. It doesn't say sun god. It only says sun. And when you guys look at the Japanese, again, it doesn't say sun god. It says sun. That's why in the English, it adapts it as sun. So in the first world, it says forbidden sun, not sun god. Then it says sun god. So we got a sun, but then we got a sun god. Then we look at the second world. It says the forest god tamed demons and the sun spread the fires of war. Again, sun, not sun god. Then you keep reading. It says man killed the sun and became God. Again, sun, not sun god. So it seems to be talking about two different things here. And if we are for some reason confused, hey, Evil, how come in the mural you're arguing that there's two different things, a sun god and a sun? If those are two different things, and they're not the same thing, and you're saying the sun god is Nika, then what is the other sun? It's obviously Mother Flame, chat. So when the mural says sun, it's Mother Flame. When it says sun god, it's Nika. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Forbidden sun is Mother Flame? Exactly. Exactly, L. That's exactly the point. That is exactly the point. I think if Emu was to worry about Nika, I'm going to have to correct that for you. He would try to kill Luffy as soon as I start to, or as soon as, I think you meant he, as soon as he starts to manifest his powers, not even let him rise to level 5. Yeah, so the thing is, we don't have the full context. We see all throughout the story, there's a prophecy of One Piece. There's a prophecy in One Piece. There's prophecies in One Piece. Right? That's not a theory. If you go back and you reread Odin's flashback during the Wano arc, you could see examples of them outright explicitly talking about how there's prophecies. Now, the thing is we don't even know what those prophecies truly entail. We could argue, oh, well, Nika returns and he fights Emu, but that's like a very vague kind of thing. And even then, we're just kind of guesstimating. But the what I'm pointing at, the reason why I'm saying this is because we clearly don't have enough context. Because if not, if that was like a genuine issue, I mean, how would Oda reconcile this? Like, think about it. You don't think it ever crossed Oda's mind to where it's like, yo, if Emu hates Nika, why didn't he just kill Luffy by now? Like, obviously, that thought has crossed Oda's mind. Like, there's no way Oda and the editors have not thought about that. If Emu hates Nika, why hasn't Emu killed Luffy yet? There has to be a sufficient answer for that. Otherwise, it's a glaring issue, and I don't think that will be an issue. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too hopeful. Maybe I'm giving Oda too much credit, but is Mother Flame the opposite to Emu's book? Is there anything opposite but equal to Mother Flame? I don't know. Mother Flame might not have an antithesis, because so here's the thing, right? Mother Flame is an endless flame. When you look at the translations, when you look at the Japanese Raws, it actually talks about how, or actually says endless flame. And I think that's kind of funny because they rendered it as Mother Flame. Now, I guess the Japanese, it could kind of go either way. It could either be Endless Flame or Mother Flame. But that is one interpretation of that thing in One Piece. Now, Mother Flame, an endless flame, right? Clearly, it could be used for good or it can be used for evil. We know that Vegapunk said that Mother Flame, the endless flame, can be used to power up machines endlessly, right? Endless energy, and people don't have to war over resources and energy anymore. But then we also know that the world government, through York, stole a piece of Mother Flame and powered up an ancient weapon with Mother Flame and used it to destroy Leloucia, which is what I would deem as evil. And by the way, that ancient weapon is most likely Uranus. I think it's obviously Uranus. So when we talk about an endless energy source that can be used for good or bad, I don't know what would the antithesis be to an endless energy resource, because that's what Mother Flame is. It's an endless fire. So what's the opposite of endless fire? Just like nothing. I don't know. Maybe that's a concept in One Piece, because the Japanese word of mu means void, empty. That's what mu means. So perhaps Emu's essence or his spirit or his devil fruit or possible devil fruit or something like that would be the antithesis. But I don't know, because that's how I'm interpreting Mother Flame, is an endless fire. But we're going to get T. Matthews in the voice call, chat. We're going to get T. Matthews and see what T. Matthews has to say. Let's see. All right. Hello, T. Matthews. What's good, bro?
What's up? How you doing? You good?
I'm chilling, bro. How about yourself, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, it's nice to finally meet you face to face.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. God bless, bro.
For sure. You know, like here's the thing. You know, so we see Emu is creating all these demons, right? And then you know the mural talks about the fact that the forest god was harvesting demons. So you think that Emu is the forest god, or like at least has this forest god fruit or whatever?
Okay, so see, that's a really interesting question, because I've been toying with that in my head. Now, I know some people, they interpret that part of the mural. You're referring to the second world.
Yeah.
They'll, like Dawn of Ascension, right? And I know many other people, they'll read that and they'll interpret it as devil fruits rather than like devils. But I actually thought of it the way you thought of it as well, where it's taming demons, like not fruits, but like actual demons. Is like, as you said, obviously, in Elbaf arc, Emu's using Diabolical Covenant. He's having a demon spawn, or I guess people flipping, Domi reversing. He's like controlling demons. Now, honestly, I'm kind of like torn between the two, and I might have to actually lean towards the second world, referring to devil fruits instead of demons. And the reason for that, let me see if I can put it on screen really quick. The reason for that, oh, whoops. Sorry, I'm all over the place. The reason for that is because, bro, if you read the first part of the mural, right? First world, It says, within the earth there was fire. Mankind succumbed to greed and touched the forbidden sun. The enslaved prayed, and the sun god appeared. Okay, so the Nika manifested. Maybe it was Joy Boy. Joy Boy ate the Nika fruit, and he, became Nika, like the sun god appeared. But if you keep reading, it says the earth god raged, and with its serpent of hellfire shrouded the world in death and darkness. So when I read this, how Nika appeared, and then the earth god rages, and the whole world is covered in darkness and warfare, it makes me lean towards Emu being earth god.
Okay, yeah. I mean, earth and force is kind of related, though. I mean, if you think about it, like.
No. I totally understand that, bro. I totally get that, but it seems that Oda is depicting them as two separate things. And I saw recently the Japanese One Piece theorists, when they talk about the Earth God and the Force God, the words that they use in Japanese makes it two separate things.
True.
Like the way that they because when you take the word of the Earth God in Japanese and you try to make it English translated to English, you could just say Earth God. But when you look at the Japanese for it, it's one thing. And then when you look at the Forest God and you look at the Japanese for forest, it's totally different from Earth. Like it's definitely like two separate things. But of course, when you translate it, it sounds like, oh, well, Earth and forest is kind of the same thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's kind of almost in a way you can almost relate it to ice in a way, being a sort of an extension of water, but kind of separate.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And I actually I was looking at this earlier years ago when Green Bull was first shown, like with his face.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull it up really quick. I actually did a video on the 4 gods of One Piece. This was so long ago. Let me see if I could find it. Yeah, right here. Actually, let me put it on the screen really quick. 3 years ago, maybe almost 4 in a few months, but it says why Luffy, Dragon, Green Bull, and Emu are the gods of One Piece. And in this video, I actually explained why Emu would be the Earth God. So now if we bounce back, brother, to the first world of the mural, and we read how the enslaved prayed and the sun god appeared, but then the earth god raged and with the serpent at hellfire starts fighting or whatever, it could point to how Emu is the earth god.
True. Speaking of the serpent of hellfire, a lot of people think it's just simply the red line. That's just like a little thing that they're calling the red line. Personally, I think that would be boring. I would like for it to actually be a serpent, but it could be both. It could, maybe the red line is like the serpent sealed in the earth or something. And when, once we get to the final battle and they destroy the red line, they have to deal with this serpent. Who knows? I mean, what do you think about
that? Like if we look at the mural, okay, so I don't want to, go on too long of a rant, but let me just say it this way, that when you look at the first world, second world, third world dialogue, and then you look at the art beneath it, I think it's very, very, very clear that the art matches the world above it. So when you read the first world and then you look at the art beneath the first world, it's very clear that this art beneath it is drawing what the first world says. Same thing for the second world, and then same thing for the third world, right? But if we look at the first world, you can see a big serpent right there on the right side. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about an actual serpent, I look at the mural and I'm like, yeah, I totally agree.
True. Although to play devil's advocate, you can almost say that the drawing is also just like a little imagery thing for the red line, but I don't want to believe that. I'd like to believe it's a serpent.
Yeah, so push, because I've heard about this before. I'm sure you heard about it too, way before the mural thing ever became a chapter, where people talk about how the red line itself could be a giant snake or a giant serpent. But I would offer pushback, because when people say that, I don't think they realize how big the red line is. Like when Luffy was going to Shabandi, we see the Thousand Sunny in the water, and you can't even see the top of the red line. But we also know the red line goes like 1,000 meters underwater. So that's like several thousand meters tall. and then you think about how it goes around the whole planet. So that snake would have to be like planet sized. And I think, I don't know, I feel like that's a little too crazy.
Maybe. Oda does like to draw from mythologies and stuff. And in Norse mythology, there's the world serpent, which is large enough to wrap itself around the earth 10 times over. So maybe.
So maybe this serpent of hellfire came from somewhere else in the One Piece solar system, or was it just always?
Potentially, or maybe it just came from underground or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a manifestation. Maybe it was manifested like the way devil fruits are. But there is some hints to space. You got NL's cover story. And then you got this whole little thing with the void. You see like the little dragon or monster over there with the second world coming down. You can almost take that as it's coming down from space. So like a cosmic monster. So anything's possible.
Well, I'm also reading the First World, and I think that when you read carefully, it's interesting how it says the earth god raged, and with its serpent of hellfire. So it seems like whoever the earth god is had the serpent. It's not that the serpent is the earth god. It's that the earth god has the serpent. So we know that Emu and the world government, they like to use black magic. So maybe there was some kind of ritual where they did black magic, and then a gigantic serpent came out of the book or came out of the ground.
Do you think it's full-on magic though? I mean, in practice it looked like magic, but some people have argued that it's maybe advanced hockey. Hockey is willpower. Like they're willing things into existence. Maybe in practice it looks like magic per se, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, good question. I definitely think it's actual magic, and I have a whole thread on this topic. I actually posted it like last week. Let me actually post the link to the thread in the stream chat right now, and then I'll kind of like tell you off the top of my head why it's magic. Let's see, it's somewhere on here. Yeah, right here. Okay, and this thread actually did pretty good. Glory to Christ, 1.300 likes. But basically, brother, the reason why I think it's actual magic in One Piece is because what we see from the magic that the Gorosei are using and the Holy Knights, it's not something that can fit hockey. So for an example, right? When they use quote unquote the mark, and that allows people to travel through the abyss pentagrams, that's not something that hockey does. Like with hockey, you're coating your arm in, something invisible, or maybe your eyesight and your hearing is, tuned up, or maybe you have lightning coming out of your body and your eyes and your fist. But something like marking people and letting them go through a pentagram, I think that's not something that constitutes as hockey. And when you think about Brooks' time skip on Namakura Island, I have this right here. You could see how when they were trying to summon in what they called Satan, they were using magic. And when the Gorosei were appearing through the pentagrams in Egghead Island, they said the same thing. They said black magic. It was the same exact wording. And then you also just like, when you think about the depiction, right? It's a pentagram. Pentagrams are used in like witchcraft and black magic. Yeah. So I think it's a huge pointer to some like a new power system in One Piece, and I think that's actually exciting, right? Because we've been playing around, with hockey. Maybe it's Conqueror's hockey or it's armament. We've been playing around with devil fruits. It's Logia, it's Paramecia, it's Zoan. But for Oda to introduce something that puts Emu in the world government at a higher echelon, something that the rest of the One Piece world doesn't have, because it's super taboo, it's super forbidden. I think that's something interesting that Oda could spice up the story with, closing out the story, And then when you think about Luffy and Kuma and many other characters taking so much inspiration from Christian theology, Jesus Christ, praying to crosses, holding a Bible, Ivankov reading a book that's Genesis, just countless things. Noah's Ark, a tree of knowledge, Eve tree, Adam trees. It just goes on and on and on and on. When you think about like an antithesis, a really big enemy to Christianity and Christian lifestyle, you think about like black magic and sorcery and witchcraft, trying to work with dark spirits and demons and stuff like that.
And demon power.
Exactly. When you think about Luffy's position as, being Jesus Christ, it makes a lot of sense that Emu, the final boss, his antithesis, is someone that works with demons, witchcraft, black magic, a total antithesis to the Christian life. For sure,
yeah. Yeah, no, you make a lot of sense, yeah. Although I wouldn't mind the idea that because I almost had the theory that this is almost a new form of hockey called demons hockey, because I believe he's a demon. I don't believe he's just ate like some demon or devil fruit. I think he's an actual demon. So like it would make some sense that if it's like a demonic form of hockey, it would also be like magical in nature as well.
Yes. I 100% agree with you. I couldn't agree more on that. And again, like I posted 2 different theories about this on Reddit on Twitter a few days ago. I 1000% agree with you. Let me put the links into the chat for people that want to read the full thing. But basically, my take is we always think of the idea that a character with the open would use the operation on someone else, right? Mm-hmm. So like that's like a very normal common thought. And then we also know from Ivankov's dialogue with Dragon and Sabo that clearly Emu has the perpetual youth surgery done on his body. I had the thought that perhaps there was a king in the Nerona dynasty that used the surgery on himself. Mm-hmm. Now, as silly as that sounds, because we know that when someone uses the surgery, the user dies and the other person's body remains perpetually young. So the surgery, and plus like outside of the surgery, the opeotomy is always body parts. It's editing someone's body. So I think there's lots of room to say that someone could use a surgery on themselves and then they die. So now there's just an empty vessel that's made perpetually young. Now the thing is we were just talking about Namakura Island and how the cultists there try to summon in the devil, and they actually refer to it as Satan. Like that's the actual word that they used in Japanese. I think the reason why they keep failing and then they're not able to summon in Satan is because Satan has already been summoned, and he was summoned into a perpetually youthful body. And that's who Emu is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. It makes a lot of sense. The devil of the One Piece world as the final villain, especially when another thing. When Oda like I said, he likes to take off of mythology and religion, but he also likes to look at old Caribbean stories and pirate themes and add it to One Piece. Like the term between a rock and a hard place, right? Yeah. There's an old ancient Caribbean counterpart to that. It's like caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. And there's a lot of theme to that saying already just going throughout the story. Just with, the devil fruits being, Emu in the water, and now this whole thing with Emu, it's like the world is now caught between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Right. Yeah, I like that. And one other thing I would add is when you think about Luffy's position in the story, we know that there's a sun god. There's a sun god named Nika. But the thing is Luffy, he had to, the sun god, we would say the sun god appeared because Luffy ate the Nika fruit. So the thing is that Nika, the god, the deity, he appears, he returns because he took on human flesh. And the reason he took on human flesh is because a human ate the Nika fruit. So by a human eating the Nika fruit, the god Nika takes on human flesh because of that. Yeah. Now, when we think about Jesus, right, his ultimate enemy is like the Antichrist or Satan. When you think about Emu being the ultimate antithesis to Luffy, it makes sense that Emu would take inspiration from the devil and the Antichrist. But if we circle back really quick to how, again, the Nika fruit took on flesh by Luffy eating the fruit, I would say that the devil took on flesh because of the black magic that the Nerona dynasty and the Gorosei did, just like the cultists on Namakura Island. So basically, Nika took on flesh and became a person, and then the devil took on flesh and became a person. Now they're fighting.
Oh yeah, that makes it, the parallels just keep going up. Like on one hand you got Nika, the embodiment of freedom, and you got like Emu, the embodiment of suppression and control. Oh, so yeah, like more antithesis, the better. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm totally on board, but brother, if there's anything else you want to share, please do. We're gonna swap to Damon Deuce in a few minutes.
No, that'll be all.
All right. God bless you, T Matthews. Good talking to you, man. If you want to hop back in, feel free to just, stick around and just let me know, and we'll pull you back in here if there is something else you want to talk about.
Got you. Thanks, man.
All right. God bless, bro. Okay. So let's see here. Mr. Damon Deuce. Fixing your mic.
All right, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I had to fix my mic real quick. What's going on, man? It's been a while.
It's been a minute, man. How you been, brother?
Been a minute. Man, so seeing with when Emu got summoned on Elbath, and you saw like how she went through what's the girl's name? The one with the bandages? Gunko. She got summoned through Gunko's body, and we saw like the book. Like I had some friends of mine saying like it really hit different. You seeing Gunko with that summoning book, and now we see the parallel. We remember with Kuma when he was holding the book of Genesis. Like it hits harder now seeing that.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at the cover, let me actually pull it up because I used it in a tweet. Let me find it really fast. When you look at the cover of the book that Gunko is using, it actually looks exactly like the what is it called? The Lesser Key of Solomon, which is a black magic satanic ritual book. Let me see if I could find.
Right.
So, with you pointing out how, hold on, maybe it's this. With you pointing out how Kuma, holds the Bible and Ivankov holds the Genesis, which, by the way, it's interesting because Dawn of Ascension pointed this out. When Ivankov pulls out that book that says Genesis, that's when Ivankov started talking about the formation of the world government and Emu being Saint Nerona Emu, which I think like that's pretty funny that he talked about that in the Genesis book, but I digress. Right. When you look at the book that I can't find it, the book that Gunko used, it's basically like the same exact design that the Lesser Key of Solomon is, which is a witchcraft satanic book in real life.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I guess kind of like the parallel of what would be like the Marvel equivalent of the Necronomicon, the Book of the Damned, like how they had the Book of Ashanti, that was like the Book of Light, Book of Word, in the Marvel equivalent, the Marvel universe, and then they had the Necronomicon, the Book of the Damned. Kind of like I don't know if you had saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
No, I'm actually missing out on all of those books, but I see a picture of the Necronomicon.
Right. The Book of the Damned. Yeah.
It's a grimoire, right?
Right, yeah, that being the Book of the Damned. So what if that was what Emu uses to be able to, turn servants and, turn them to the darkness. He's using this book. I just wanted to go back to the first page of the mural. And so I was listening to you, like what you were saying about the earth god. The earth god raged, and then they specifically said, and with its serpent of hellfire. So it's making it sound like both of them were working in tandem to destroy the earth, or it could be loosely interpreted as the earth god and this serpent of hellfire were fighting because they shrouded the world in death and darkness, and they will never meet again. So I think it would be one of those things, kind of breaking down the verbiage of it and trying to make sense of it that way with the first world, because people are in doubt. They're seeing that the earth is going to hell in a handbasket. They're looking for some type of sovereign. Man touched the forbidden sun. I think what could we loosely interpret of being the forbidden sun? Lunarians, fire, sun, possibly that forbidden flame. The sun god appears, Jesus, if you will, purveyor of truth, whatnot. And so the earth god raged, and its serpent of hellfire shrouded the world in death and darkness, and they will never meet again. So that was the first sovereign, or the first mechanism of the earth was going to be destroyed and renewed, because the sun god appeared. And like I said, every time the sun god appears, that's when there's going to be a renewal of earth, or life itself on earth. I was going to say, what if joining all of the guys' theories together, what if they wanted to plan a coup against the sun god? Because every time the sun god appears, he signals rebirth, but also within that rebirth also brings destruction. What if someone from the Emu dynasty, from the Nerona family, what if they got the perpetual youth surgery done on themselves with that serpent of hellfire, and they actually got the serpent, the demon serpent itself, put inside their body, which would explain how you're able to do all these demonic type things and demonic actions and stuff that's not devil fruit related. Because those yokai, they weren't able to be drowned by water, the packs and everything, the darkness summonings and everything. It would substantiate that with that evidence that being ruled by a demon who's in a human's body. So there would be some credence to that, given in tandem with what we know about the devil fruits. We've talked about that back in December when you did the open mic, about how, with I'm gonna harp again, everybody, Skypiea is a treasure trove if you don't know, and Eddie is going to review it. And in Skypiea, they said about the descendants of the spirits, from the descendants of those who are gone, they went to those trees. What do trees bloom? Fruit. Devil fruits. The spirits of those people went to those trees. I think their spirits became devil fruits. They're combating against devil fruits. So it would make sense for a demon to go against these people that are trying to conspire against it. These people, devil fruits, these people, they fought against those mechanisms. They were like, what's one way we can prevail against these gods that are trying to destroy the earth? If we manifest our spirits, our wishes, we wish for someone to come help us, to help the downtrodden, to help those who are in need. And their dreams became into reality because of the devil fruits. And those devil fruits manifested those wishes from those peoples into different gods. We have the sun god, the god of the forest, the sea god, and then the earth god. Those are the four gods in the One Piece world. One thing I would say is we don't know whom else has the devil fruit that's misdiagnosed now, like with Luffy, him having the Goma Goma no Mi, but really being the sun god mythical Nika fruit. We don't know whom else has a devil fruit that could be misdiagnosed. and they could be hiding in plain sight, and we just don't know it yet. They have their fruit hasn't been awakened yet to where we can conjoin all of the murals, all the books, because it's like the Earth storybook in the One Piece world. Book one, then the second book, the second world, and then the third world. Is going to conjoin together to where all the gods are going to have to come together to take out the serpent, the demon itself, who was still trying to conspire to take over the world. Because it says here that the gods wouldn't meet each other, but those are in those books. The fourth book is the present now. That's the story that hasn't been written yet, but which is unfolding.
Okay. Okay. I actually never thought of it like that, because when you as you just said, when you read the end of the first world, second world, third world, it says they will never meet, and they will surely meet. I actually didn't think that it was referring to the gods. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is the gods.
Oh.
In those books, they went away because it seemed like it was like a holy war. It was like a fight, a sovereign battle between the gods, and the sun god would appear. He would peek his head in the door every now and then to let you know, like just to check and see what's going on. And then now is like throughout the years, what that would ring, and like how they said, like, okay, the mythical sun god Nika fruit, it's like it's been avoiding the government this whole time. Like the fruit is sentient. So can we apply that same thinking to the other god fruits? That the other god fruits are sentient as well, and they're choosing who to go to keep the war alive. Because the sun god fruit knew exactly what it was doing, going to Luffy to be able to fan those flames of war. Because everywhere Luffy goes, he's helping save a princess, and he's freeing people, and he's like ushering a whole new regime for people who are downtrodden. So what if? Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, like, because at first I was thinking, okay, because there are 4 god fruits, we have one off the table now with Luffy, so there's 3 more. Whom would these fruits belong to? Thinking outside of the box, whom would these 3 people who we've seen, or maybe those that we haven't, but who could be like the sea god? Who could be the god of the forest, and who could be god of earth? I did think that the earth god was Emu, just because it would build with that build up. It would keep in line with that build up. Like, oh, Emu is one of the big bads, so of course it would have to be like a god fruit. You know, like what if Blackbeard had one, like his Yami Yami no Mi, and it was misdiagnosed, and it could be like a god fruit. But then what if Buggy had like a god fruit, because he's always lucky, his upward trajectory, and that would go along with what with like God Valley, and like the whole big rigmarole with God Valley, like him being the prize jewel and whatnot. And so I don't know, it's just a lot of thinking. It's so much to play around with that. But well, let me how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, a lot of that was pure heat. I mean, you said a lot of stuff, and that's a good thing, because there's a lot of different directions we can go. But just one of the first things that come to my mind is, I really liked how you mentioned in Shandora, the legend is that, you know, the souls go to the trees or whatever. I think like that would be an interesting parallel if devil fruits did actually have souls or wishes or dreams, you know, some kind of substance from someone's being into the tree. Because when you look at the mural right in the center, Dawn of Ascension actually pointed this out to me. Obviously this looks like a tree, but what if those aren't leaves and they're actually devil fruits? Because when you look at this second world text, it says the forest god tamed demons. And
Right.
perhaps that isn't actually in regards to demons like what Emu's using with Diabolical Covenant, but actually devil fruits, like devils, demons.
Which they
So
call demons, D-clan members. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. So, and then when you think about it, like forest god, right? Taming demons. If we talk about devil fruits being called demons, and the forest god is taming it, then that makes a lot of sense. If the fruits come from a tree, you know, maybe Sunlight Tree Eve, and like these are not leaves, they're actually devil fruits, and the forest god is doing this. He's enacting this because he's a forest god. He can make the tree spawn the fruits, you know, from people's souls. Maybe he has some part to play in it. And what makes it even more interesting is I mentioned this in a video a long time ago, but in the early version of One Piece, Oda's attempt of beginning One Piece Romance Dawn, it actually explicitly says that the devil fruits come from the illusion tree. So we know for a fact before Oda began One Piece, he already thought about devil fruits coming from a tree. And in that Romance Dawn prototype of One Piece, again, it says that the devil fruits come from the illusion tree and that they can only spawn like once every 100 years or 500 years or something like that. So perhaps that could be played into One Piece somehow. And then we also think about how I mentioned this in videos too. I believe in Hinduism, it might be Hinduism, there should be a tree called the banyan tree where people's wishes go into a tree, and then like the tree manifests the wishes, it like manifests the powers. So if Oda, you know, kind of added his own creative liberty and kind of twisted that, perhaps it's what you said, people's souls end up going into the tree and then their souls are manifested as devil fruits. But if we, you know, kind of take a step back and we read the mural again, it says the forest god tamed demons. So I'm thinking if the people's souls went into a tree, let's just say Sunlight Tree Eve, just to, you know, simplify the conversation. If people's souls went into Sunlight Tree Eve and the forest god tamed the demons, you know, he somehow took control of devil fruits, how would that happen exactly? Like, do you have any ideas?
Okay, well, let's work our way through that. So with the Sunlight Tree Eve, I do think that there's a specific reason why the world government is at the top of the red line and why we've never seen the actual tree itself. We've only seen the roots go down to Fishman Island. We've never seen the tree itself specifically. So what if because of that, the manifestation of people's dreams and souls, and like how we're talking about the gram of soul and whatnot, is pretty much saying that energy never dies.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much
We know.
that equivalency. So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
know that.
100%.
So in tandem with that, these people souls go into the tree. Emu has control over that tree because the Marijawa itself is around it, to where trying to figure out, okay, well, how would devil fruits escape? But if the tree is like, if Marijawa is brokered around it, so like were like devil fruits able to escape, or like if like people already had devil fruits out in the wild, you know, if somebody gets killed or Blackbeard way, their heart gets eaten or whatever the case, lineage factor and all that, and you're able to get someone else's fruit, would that be able to keep other fruits from being born if people die and then new people wish for like new fruits, but the fruits get intercepted because the tree, when the tree blooms, is going to bloom in Marijawa, and Emu is in charge up there, right there by the tree. They could just immediately intercept that fruit before it gets into the wild. The D clan being the enemies of the world government, they don't want another Joy Boy. They don't want another God to rival his power, because they can, what's inevitably going to happen, the fruit users are going to band together and they're going to try to disrupt that power, and then it will cause a power vacuum within the One Piece world, toppling over the government, if you will. So I would say it's interesting in the mural how we see the sea god, we see that dragon at the top of the world's tree, Yggdrasil, and then we see the serpent, but we don't see a tangible earth god, which is interesting. I know it's been a lot of talk. People were like, "Hey, what about the Loki looking person with the rod?" Not sure. We could see Joy Boy right there though, right next
Okay,
to him.
so yeah. I like all that you said. There's a few things I want to add just to help out your take.
Okay, go ahead.
So firstly, so you were mentioning how we can't see the top of the Yggdrasil tree, and like Emu or Marijwa should be near the Yggdrasil tree. Well, to make your to sharpen your I guess take is, we know for a fact because Oda drew it. Yggdrasil, or I'm sorry, Sunlight Tree Eve, the roots of it goes straight up, like the what do you call it? The tree basically. It goes straight up, and it's
The trunk.
exactly where Marijwa is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so that should actually strengthen your theory. It's not even like, you could tell people it's not even that Marijwa is near the tree. It's basically on the tree. Like either like the roots of it are inside of the castle, or the castle is directly on top of the tree. So it's directly on it rather than being close to it. So that would make your argument stronger. But
Right.
one thing that came to mind is because I'm still thinking about the forest god taming demons. Perhaps like when people die, their souls go to the Yggdrasil tree, or they go to the Sunlight Tree Eve. It's probably Sunlight Tree Eve. And if someone is the forest god, being that they have the powers of trees in the forest, they're able to make the souls in that tree manifest into fruits. And maybe that forest god isn't Emu, and maybe he's searching for the new forest god so that he could capture them and make them harvest the fruits or the souls from the Sunlight Tree Eve to become devil fruits, and then he has a stronger monopoly on the rest of the world. I also
I was
think about
thinking
how
that
you
too. I
I
was thinking
also
that too.
All right, awesome. I like that we're on the same wavelengths because I like a lot of what you said. You also made a good point where the mural doesn't seem to depict the Earth God, but I would actually pose to you this observation, because we know obviously that the mural talks about the sun god, and when you look at the sun god, it's obviously, this Nika cartoon on the far left. So my thing is like, how do we not know the Earth God isn't, almost humanoid like Nika? And I get like, the white hair or whatever might not be totally humanoid, but what if it's humanoid like, the Nika cartoon rather than a big monster? And I think that this person over here, this black shadow with the crown, what if they're the Earth God? Because if you look at the big serpent, right? It seems like the serpent and this person with the crown, they're kind of like facing the same direction. I don't really get the vibe that they're like facing each other. I feel like they're facing the same direction, kind of like if you look on the far left, all of these figures, they're facing left, but then this big monster is facing right. So when we read the first world, it says the earth god or the sun god appeared, this earth god raged, and with its serpent of hellfire shrouded the world in death and darkness. I wonder if this right here, this person with the crown, is the earth god working with the this serpent, and that's the earth god with the serpent fighting something like this bird right here. Because I don't think this bird would be an earth god. I mean, I feel like the bird would be like a sky god, if anything. What are your thoughts on that?
On that, I've always well, my head kind of went. I interpret like the mural. I always thought that that was like the first portion. Like look at it from like a curvature, from where that dragon is on top of the tree, and drag your finger from all the way to the right and go down. So that's the first world, because we're seeing where the earth god raged, and then the serpent of hellfire, they shrouded the world in death and darkness. We're seeing that's when they're both fighting right there. Both of them are fighting. So that's the first book. Both of them are fighting. And then we see the world beneath them, falling into chaos. Then the second world, I can agree with you to an extent on the person standing on top of the elephant. which people kind of think it might be Zunesha. We don't know. But I think that's the portion in the second world when the forest demon and the souls, and when people were trying with their machinations of their dreams, they wanted the fighting to stop. So that's when the earth god, well, the forest god, found a way to usher, or maybe um pull souls or pull people's dreams to the fruits, well, to the trees, to then forward to bear fruit. And then we could see those of the moon dreamed, those of the half moon dreamed, those of the moon dreamed. Man killed the sun and became God, and the sea god stormed, and they will never meet again. So that portion, I believe, is when they killed Joy Boy, when man killed the sun.
See, so
And
the interesting thing there, because I also interpreted it when it says the man killed the son and became God. Just like you, I understood that as them killing Joy Boy because Joy Boy ate the Nika fruit, as we can assume. But the problem is that they don't say sun god; they only say sun. So when you read the first world, it says the forbidden sun, but then it says sun god. Then in the second world, it says sun to spread the war, and then it says sun again that they killed, and then the third world it says sun god. And when you look at the Japanese, the way they talk about, in the first world, second world, third world, when they say sun, Oda wrote it differently than when it says sun god in English. So that makes me think that it's actually two different references to the sun. And we know that Mother Flame is an eternal fire, and it might have something to do with the sun, because obviously the sun is a big ball of fire. So maybe when it talks about how man killed the sun, it's basically man getting rid of Mother Flame. Because look at Vegapunk, right? He rediscovered Mother Flame, and he made such a big deal about it in the whole world. Nobody's using Mother Flame anymore. So clearly Mother Flame used to exist, and then it disappeared. Everyone stopped using it. And then when he rediscovers it, he says, oh, this was my first sin. I discovered Mother Flame because I wanted an endless energy source, but now they want to kill me. I flew too close to the sun. So it does seem like the world government, Emu, trying to hide Mother Flame to have a monopoly on people and stop people from having this energy or this endless energy source to have power. It kind of would make sense if it was talking about man killed the sun in reference to Mother Flame. Oh, and one more thing.
I would agree with you. I agree with you to an extent, but my only pushback on that would be when we look in the third mural and we could see like that entity with the wings is holding that sun. So that's why I would say maybe in the second stanza of the second book, after they said man killed the god and after man killed the sun and became God, the sea god stormed. The sea god was angry, and we can see like this god holding like a sun in its hand. So what if like the sea god was mad that man killed the rendition of Joy Boy, of the sun god, and that was the sea god being angry because the imbalance was shaken. And we see that god right there. We see that figure holding that sun in its hand. And we do know that Emu has Joy Boy's hat in Marijois in the chamber, which is a remnant, a keepsake of when man killed God, well, killed the sun god. Because we do believe with that theory, Joy Boy was a sun god, was a Nika user. And so that would fall in line with, that's one of Marijois' holiest treasures. When man tried to rise up against them and they quelled it, they took away their hope because they killed the sun god user, and they have the hat to prove it. It's in Marijois in that vault.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's just what throws me off is like in the English and the Japanese, it makes it clear that when it says sun, it's different than sun god. And it's something that I'm thinking about. But I wanted to
Right,
pose
I
this
can understand that could be interpreted differently. I can understand that.
because no, what you're saying, it makes complete sense. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And I like your point about the hat too. That was a really good point. But I either way, your interpretation's good. I don't have a problem with it. It's just, reading this, Oda's just throwing me for a loop. But I want to offer this to you. So when it says those of the half moon dreamed, I think most people pretty much insinuate D-Clan. But when you read those of the moon dreamed, when it says those of the moon, the Japanese is actually saying moon people. So when they translate it to English, they just say those of the moon, but it's actually saying moon people. And what's interesting is when it says the moon people in the Japanese, the word and the phrase they use is the same exact phrase that they used when they were talking about the little robots with wings in NL's cover story. Remember the little moon people with the wings, the robots, the Moonanites?
Right. That NL's with now.
Yeah, exactly. So that is something I think is really crazy. I haven't seen anyone talk about that, but yeah. So when you read the mural, those of the moon dreamed, that word when they say those of the moon is the same exact word for those little Moonanites in NL's cover story. So Dawn of Ascension, she's been thinking about this for a while. Maybe the D-Clan and the Moonanites had some kind of connection. And I actually posted a thread about this on Twitter like a year and a half ago, where it's like Mother Flame and Nika actually originated from the moon. And then it made its way down here. And that's why it's such an advanced, endless energy source, you know, and they had to come down here because NL's cover story said they lacked natural resources. So even though they had, you know, Mother Flame, they still didn't have, you know, grass and water and stuff like that, or wind. So I don't know.
Same
That's
thing
something
with, like with Lunarians.
Lunarians, what do you mean by that?
Like with Lunarians, do you believe like Lunarians came from the moon too? Like with them having like the extinguishable flame?
So that is an interesting thing, because when you look at NL's cover story, the three sky races that were working, or the three winged races that were working on the Moonanites, they are clearly Skypians, Birkins, and Shandorians. But the thing is Oda never drew Lunarians. So I don't know. Like, to me, it makes a lot of sense. Like, I totally get that. But then I think, like, why didn't Oda draw it? Maybe like Oda didn't have the idea for Lunarians yet, and maybe they did tag along with those three, but Oda just, you know, he didn't draw it because he didn't think of it at that time. But I don't know. That might be cope, you know?
I always thought it was interesting, like because of the fire on their back, like it's indistinguishable. And like, so what if maybe there was like a holy war between them and the moon people, and they had to leave, and then that's when they came to Earth and they settled upon the red line, and then that leads into, well, just headcanon wise, that's what led to them being hunted and then extinguished. But then they, you know, they kept one of them, you know, as a reminder, you know, because like they, like Oda didn't get too deep into it, but they were on top of the red line, like you said,
Yeah.
like they, so they might have been up there as guardians of Sunlight Tree Eve. And so one of the first measures of being able to sequester people's dreams and these devil fruits from being born and going out into the world, we eliminate that threat of the Lunarians around that tree, and then we sequester the
actually a good
tree
point.
itself with Marijois, and that being the home base. But
That's
I
a good
do like that theory too, with the Shandorians, the Skypians, the Birkins.
Yeah.
I do believe there's a reason why we haven't seen what's my man who's I forgot his name.
Hold on.
From
This guy, Little Baji Dank, said Jesus Christ isn't real. Stop being a crackhead. Hey, Little Baji, stop barking
man.
at that and get into the StreamYard. We could have a great conversation. Stop barking, get into the StreamYard link. It's at the top of the chat, buddy. So I'm sorry, go on, because you were talking about Lunarians being on top of the red line. We know that for sure. You know, Whitebeard, or I guess Marco was talking about that in Wano, and then they would have been next to Sunlight Tree Eve or directly on top of it. So I'm sorry, you were going into what were you expanding on that?
No, I was trying to remember his name. Urouge. Like, there has to be a reason why we haven't seen Urouge. We haven't seen him in so long, so he might become a major player within because it's going to be like a proxy war. We're going, not necessarily a Cold War type of thing, but everybody is going to be choosing sides now, and it's definitely evident with Emu making that first move on Elbath. And so now it's going to cause, like, okay, this is going to cause a whole chain of causation. Like, what if Rouge comes back and he has like the Shandorians with him, when the war starts, that sort of thing. That's why Rouge has been gone for so long, because he probably saw like what was happening, like the war effort, and he's trying to put together sky forces for the war that's yet to come. We don't know. I don't know. That's just my head canon, because I'm just wondering where the hell he's been.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally
I
agree.
think that would have been a good use of him, of his character, if that's what he's been doing off screen. He's been building up war forces.
Yeah. So, man, I really, really enjoy this conversation, because I agree with like probably like 95% of what you said. And this is just one of those conversations I really enjoy, because it goes in so many different directions, bro. But one thing that has also been on my mind throughout this conversation is you were mentioning about the quad gods of One Piece. I actually think it makes a lot of sense of Dragon as the rain god.
Yeah, that has been really theorized for a long time, especially like when Dragon showed up at Logtown, and with the devastation and everything, the rain and everything, and it would constitute to a lot of sense of like, why is Dragon the world's most dangerous criminal? Like, what has he really stolen? But it really, you would have to ask, why has the government labeled him as such?
Because
What did he really steal that required him to have that label? He must have stolen something of grave importance,
because
a strategic asset of the government, for him to
I
be
like
labeled.
that. I like that point, because like, why, right? And people would like you. I feel like it's almost like a cop out when people say like, oh, well, he's leading a worldwide army, he's leading the revs and he's opposing, the world government. But I feel like pirates already do that anyways. And the interesting thing is, I was talking a little bit about like maybe like 35 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, about a video I posted 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, about the quad gods of One Piece. But way after that, I had a video of this theory about Dragon having the the snake no mi model Amaru. And the interesting thing is, like, in that case, Amaru would have the power of rain and the power of wind and pretty much everything we see from Dragon. And the scales on the Amaru is exactly like the scales on Dragon's face. But I want you to also consider that, like, and when you look in mythos all around the world, religion all around the world, right? You actually come to realize that when a religion or some type of mythology has a deity or a person or a god or whatever that's related to rain, like a rain god, they actually have the power of wind too. So if Dragon like basically the wind, it's secondary to their rain powers. So when you think about Dragon using wind all the time
first, right?
Yeah, when you think about Dragon using wind powers, it's like that doesn't mean he's only limited to wind. For all we know, the wind could be secondary and the rain would be primary. Plus, as you said, in Logtown, it started raining as soon as he showed up, as soon as he pulled up. So, if he was the rain god, that explains why, he's such a big threat. It explains why he has the, because a lot of these people in the One Piece world, when they lead a militia, when they lead a fleet and stuff like that, they need physical power. If he was the rain god and had like all these wind abilities and, heavy no mi model Amaru, maybe it makes sense that this powerful guy with physical prowess is able to lead that army in the first place. But then, as you said, it makes him that much more, notorious.
That's what I always thought. Like, it had to be some type of high-ranking devil fruit, because we know that he was being groomed for I believe an admiral position before the whole fallout and everything, before he left, because he was within that same age. I think me and Smokey was talking about this on stream, I think a while back. Like, he was within that age group with Kizaru and what's the other guy name?
Kizaru and Akainu? Yeah, Akainu, right?
Yeah, like he was within that age group, so they were going to be the next ones up. So and after Dragon left, that's why Kuzan was brought in to replace him. because they were going to be the next three up. They were going to be the next ones to lead the Navy and whatnot. So if Dragon, like, I mean, it makes sense. He's Garp's son. He was like, hey, I don't agree with what's going on. He found some shit. He didn't like it. He took that fruit. He took some government secrets. He had Vegapunk in his back pocket. And he was like, look, I want you to be a part of what we're building over here. He was like, y'all ain't got no money. Let me continue what I'm doing over here with the world government, but at least I could feed you information from the inside. You might not have me fully, but at least we have a hand on the wheel, which is better than not having one at all. Them getting fed information from the inside from Vegapunk.
Yeah, I like that. Bouncing to a different topic. You were talking about like this demon looking thing on the far left of the mural holding the sun. Now,
Right.
If we try to fit in Mother Flame into this mural, as I do think it makes a lot of sense for Mother Flame to be in the mural. When we look at this dragon demon thing fighting what appears to be Nika, I could understand that sun in his hand being Mother Flame, because we know with York, right? She took a bit of Mother Flame and gave it to the Gorosei. She gave it to the world government, and the government used Mother Flame to power up Uranus. So if Emu is on the left and he's holding the sun, that could be metaphorical to Emu holding Mother Flame. Also, maybe like when Egghead was, getting destroyed and everyone was fighting, maybe the government managed to save even more Mother Flame while the whole rest of the planet doesn't have this endless energy resource. Like if you think back to the beginning of Egghead, it was such a big deal to Vegapunk. He was going on and on and on and on about how there's all these wars all the time because they don't have enough resources. All these people need to fight over, energy and resources to fuel their factories and, fuel their islands and countries. So, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I don't know if you heard this earlier, but when it says mankind succumb to greed and touch the forbidden sun, that relates to how in the Egghead Island arc, when Vegapunk was giving his broadcast, he was talking about Mother Flame, going on and on and on about it and how it's an endless energy resource. And he says in reference to Mother Flame that when he discovered this endless energy resource, he committed his first sin by diving into that research and touching the forbidden sun, flying too close to the sun. So like that's why I think Mother Flame fits a lot into this mural, and why some parts of the mural that speak of a sun and other parts speak of a sun god. Those are the two different things between Mother Flame and the sun god.
That's an interesting take on that. I would propose this. What if this is like the world storybook showing us the gods themselves fighting over the Mother Flame?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, 100%.
And then like man touching it, like they say, like, man, you weren't meant for this power. This is meant for the gods only. And the sun god would peek his head in the door each time just to witness the destruction of Earth. And just to be like a harbinger, just I guess like a recorder, if you will. Like every time he comes, like he approaches and you see him, like, okay, he's like the harbinger of that. So like he's like he witnesses it. Like
yes,
the other fellow gods fighting over this energy source, man getting their hands on it. Man is not meant for this. You're not meant for that. But I can understand with Vegapunk wanting to use those resources for good, because we can see what you're able to do with Mother Flame. And then we can also see on the other hand why the world government wants to have it for themselves. If we go along with that theme of rhyme or reason, Emu is a demon that's trapped inside a human's body. They're still perpetuating the war that Vegapunk was referencing, the ongoing war that's been going on. I can understand if that demon wanted to have the Mother Flame to itself. I'm going to drown all those people. I don't care about them. I'm about to drown them, and then we're going to get a hold of the Mother Flame and we're going to reign supreme. But Emu didn't account for those devil fruits being materialized, the other gods that he fought against throughout history, those gods materializing and coming back as devil fruits. Didn't count on that because he wanted to keep the devil fruits from getting out. Hence why Marie-Joie is on the red line and they built around it to keep the devil fruits from being born and matriculating out into the public for their chance for them to be reborn so the gods can come back against him. It's pretty much on some the last one standing. And it seems like Emu was the last one standing.
Yeah, no,
That's what I kind of get from it.
Yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying, everything. Them fighting over Mother Flame. And One Piece is a reflection of the real world constantly. And we know that there's so many wars that seem to be fought over resources. Like, we're told that, the US, goes to war over oil and stuff like that. All throughout history.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, all throughout history, people fighting for resources. So like that would easily be reflected in One Piece with, again, as Vegapunk said, people warring over resources, and the world government wants a monopoly on that, exactly as what you said. But here's the interesting twist, though. The other day, I was arguing how the ancient kingdom, right, must have had Mother Flame, this endless energy resource, because we know that the ancient kingdom had a monopoly on everyone. The ancient kingdom was the most advanced nation on the planet. But here's the tricky thing. When you read the first world, it says mankind succumbed to greed and touched the forbidden sun. The enslaved prayed and the sun god appeared. So that makes me think, okay, mankind touched the forbidden sun. We know the ancient kingdom had the Mother Flame. But then it says the enslaved prayed. So wait, so the ancient kingdom had Mother Flame, but then there were slaves and they were praying? It makes me think, like, was the ancient kingdom having a monopoly on the Mother Flame? And by the way, when you look at the bottom part, beneath the first world, you can see people passing like this star, sun, fire thing around. That looks like slaves harvesting Mother Flame. But I don't want to lose my train of thought. I just had another thought while you were explaining all that, to where it's like, I totally missed this, and it might undermine that whole theory. But it says within the earth there was fire. So what if the first world is saying within the earth there was fire? The ancient kingdom, they were using Mother Flame, and they weren't abusing it. They were just using it, and it was becoming very advanced. But then mankind, the celestial dragons, Emu, they became greedy and they got the Mother Flame. They wanted to harvest it and monopolize it. And then the enslaved people started praying, and Nika appeared, Joy Boy appeared. So when it says within the earth there was a fire, that's because the ancient kingdom was using it. But then when it says mankind succumbed to greed, touch the forbidden sun, that's because Emu wanted to monopolize it. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, let's definitely unpack that in the first book. So I've always thought, like, if you could go back down for everybody, like on the first book, like those look like apartments down there. So I'm like, those look like apartment buildings, so they can't be that down bad. Just a joke. But
those look like factories. Those look like factories. If you think about Wano, right? Udon prison. Udon prison looked like that with a bunch of smoke coming out of it. And they were working, they were mining there. So like when it talks about, within the earth there was a fire, mankind succumbed to greed, use the forbidden sun. Maybe they were fueling their factories, they were fueling their machinery with the forbidden sun, and smoke's just coming out.
Bro said those projects. Now that's wild. But yeah, I think I remember when we also when I think we were on stream when the chapter mural came out, and I pointed out, like, what if those, like, if you can count it, those was like the 19 tributes, I believe, who were coming up. They were using the conveyor belt up to Marie-Joie to give like tribute to the king. That's what I thought that was. Those are like tributes that they were given to be granted into Marie-Joie, because it was 19 people.
I forgot about that. Oh yeah. Man, you're totally right.
That's what I always thought that was. But in tandem with the first book, I do understand about it being an advanced civilization. And I always thought, like, what if it was like a combination of tribes of people before they got displaced? What if it was like the moon people, Shandorians, Lunarians, like people who had came to Earth, and it became a melting pot, and they came together and created that civilization, and then they were able to prosper. But then it was people who, I guess, who were probably, wouldn't say neglected, but they weren't accepted into that civilization, and that bred dissent, and that bred hatred with those people who weren't able or accepted into their civilization. And that's what caused like breed and dissent, and for people to rise up against them. Because that's what I always thought, like, you would think if these people had power, they had places to live and food, why would there be any like conflict? So it had to be some conflict there to where it arose to these people coming together to disrupt like the ancient kingdom. It had to be something that happened to where, oh, we disagree with how the kingdom is being ran, and so we're going to rise. They thought they were the good guys, like Emu, the Nerona dynasty, his family, and the other founders of Marijois who were given tributes. They thought they were the good guys by destroying the ancient kingdom. So I mean,
So
it would be nice to see like have some backstory on that.
so would you be saying that the ancient kingdom, they were gatekeeping and monopolizing Mother Flame?
I would say
Or are you saying
because it
that
was like a, yeah.
or are you saying someone like stole some and then they monopolized it?
I could say we could possibly see it as like an Elbath situation too. People having good intentions, but knowing that it can go left really fast, kind of like with the king. And I do kind of subscribe to that take with like Loki killing his dad. He was like, hey, I know that's my dad, but something has gone wrong. Why would I want to kill the king? It got to be a reason for me to kill him. We just don't know it yet. He knows it, obviously, but we don't know it yet. So there has to be a tangible reason to where why the king ripped his horns off, and to why Loki killed him. That degradation right there, with that line of demarcation, we got to find that out, because that's a key point to where Elbath was in power, and Elbath, doing what they were doing over there, and how that correlates to the ancient kingdom. And with Joy Boy, maybe everybody was doing everything for the right reasons, but then it was somebody who had bad ulterior motives, who was like the face of the kingdom. And Joy Boy
See?
was trying to unite people and keep everybody together and quell the flames of war, but it became too late because the person in power was running them down the wrong way.
See that I posted this theory maybe like a few days ago. Let's see, 5 days ago, about how Emu was gatekeeping Mother Flame as the king of the ancient kingdom, and Joy Boy wanted to rebel against his own king Emu.
Yeah,
It
which
sounds
was
exactly
exactly
like
what,
what
yeah.
you're describing.
Yeah,
So
that makes
now
sense. That lines up. You can sell that to somebody. You can sell that to somebody like a fellow One Piece theorist. Be like, hey, I think that's tangibly that could be what happened. Knowing having what information we have in front of us, you could sell that to somebody, and it would be very plausible. Bread
yeah,
descent. These people rose up against the ancient kingdom. They felt resources weren't being used the correct way. They were hating on them. Because I mean, look at it. Look, you saw how Egghead was, and they said like the ancient kingdom was more advanced than this. Are you serious? So y'all got air conditioners over there? Hey man, we're sweating over here, man. You jerks. You got air
all right,
conditioners over there, refrigerators. We out here sweating in the
all
desert.
right.
The hell is wrong with you guys? Like, I would understand that would breed a lot of dissent. People would be very upset about that.
Yeah, I agree. So we've been going on for about the stream's been going on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I do want to ask you, Damon, if there's any last things you want to say, and then we're gonna bring it back to T Matthews and then probably wrap up the stream. But is there anything else you want to add? Because I love pretty much everything you said today.
Oh no, man, that's enough, man. I just want to say, man, it's good talking with you again, man. Blessed and highly favored, man. Best wishes to you and Don, man. I'm glad you took that next step, man. It was good talking with you again.
God bless you, brother. Thank you so much, man. I really enjoy doing these, but as I said, like it's gonna be hard to fit them in, maybe in the break weeks, because I'm just now starting a new series, guys. This Saturday, where we're gonna reread through One Piece. We're gonna start all the way back from chapter 1. Every Saturday, we're gonna just keep going on and on and on. And as we read through arcs like Skypiea and I don't know, Fishman Island, whatever, we'll get a lot of ideas. But maybe this will be a thing for the break weeks. We'll always do open mic so we could get people like Damon in here.
Most of, man. That sounds like the move, man. I stay blessed, my brother.
You too, brother. God bless.
God bless.
All right, T. Matthews, welcome back. Oh, I think you might be muted, bro.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I turned them both off and forgot. So, he brought up the tree thing, and with the devil fruits. The whole tree. These powerful forbidden fruits coming from this tree is the well-used trope in religion and mythology. Obviously, like Adam and Eve and the forbidden fruit, but then also like in Norse mythology is the golden apple. So, that spawns off of the world tree Yggdrasil. And there's also like ambrosia in Greco-Roman mythology, which is the fruit of the gods. So it's a place trope. And
Wait, ambrosia.
Ambrosia, yes, from Greek.
Could you tell me more about that?
So, the Olympians had the nectar, the drink of the gods, and then they had ambrosia, the food of the gods. It was a fruit that they ate upon. And it's
they're saying you might be a little muffled right now.
Oh, that's what you're saying? Oh, maybe I'm just not close enough. Okay.
Oh, that's way better. That's way better.
Okay.
Okay, so ambrosia, the fruit of the gods?
Yes.
Pill of immortality, I see. Elixir of life. The food or drink of the gods, often depicted as conferring longevity or immortality upon who consumed it. Huh. Nectar. Wait, so I'm sorry. Where were you going with this? Because you said this was so interesting, and I forgot what you were getting at with this.
Yeah, no, I was just saying it's an interesting trope that's always used. So that's why I'm saying, like with devil fruits, you have to believe that we eventually learned that there is some tree that they come from. Maybe it's like some type of mystical or spiritual tree or cosmic tree. Who knows? But I'm sure we'll learn about that in the future.
See, I think that tree is Sunlight Tree Eve right here in the dead center. Notice, by the way, Matthews, Terrence, you see this is Noah's Ark right here. You got two of each kind entering the ship, and this ship's on the lower half of the tree. That's where Fishman Island is with the Noah's Ark. That should be Sunlight Tree Eve. Maybe these aren't even leaves; they're fruits.
Mm-hmm.
And
then I always took it that they were fruits.
So how do you think the forest god is taming the demons? Like, what does that mean in terms of it being devil fruits from the tree? What does that mean? How does that work?
Yeah. Oh, the taming of the demons. Like I said, I'm no longer even thinking that's the devil fruit thing. I think it's more like with Emu and the turning people into demons.
So you do believe that the devil fruits come from a tree, but you just don't believe that's what the second mural or second world's talking about.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. So I'm trying to think.
Now, could I be wrong? I'm open to the possibility that this is talking about devil fruit eaters.
I could be wrong. Hey, we could both be wrong.
Yeah.
But let's see, because I'm trying to think, like the Lunarians were on. So if the devil fruits come from a tree, do you believe it's a specific tree?
Yeah, I do.
Which tree?
Well, you see, that's the thing. I'm not even sure about that. Could it be a tree we don't know about, like a new tree that could be introduced in the future, or maybe it could be the Adam tree, like you're saying, or even the Eve tree. Who knows?
A tree on a laugh tail.
Yeah, maybe.
And that was the One Piece, a devil fruit tree.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah, that's definitely something interesting to think about. But so going to another topic, I think I have an idea of what Luffy's dream is.
Really?
Yeah,
And
I
what's
think
that?
I think he wants to unite everyone, as in like I think he wants to unite pirates and marines on the same side, and that's why people say it's childish or impossible because pirates are really criminals and the marines are the people of justice. They're enemies, right? So they're like,
Right.
this is a childish dream. That's never gonna happen. But Luffy's like, and that's why Luffy's like, I think if I become Pirate King, I at least have a chance. So he's even if he becomes Pirate King, he's not even entirely sure, but he wants that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I was about to say that actually. You beat me to the punch because if Luffy is the king of the pirates, we know he would have all the wealth, fame, and power. He would have power all over the world. So if he could stand as the representation of pirates, he could be pushing this narrative, pushing this agenda of being good, building relationships with all people, and sailing the seas, liberating people, not pillaging and destroying. You know, I like your point about how it would be a step up. The reason why I like your idea even more, but beyond that, is because I've always been, I forgot why I came under this inclination, but I've always had the inclination that Luffy's dream has to fit the character of Joy Boy. And I think the character of Joy Boy is someone that united all the races.
Yeah. In fact, I think the final battle is going to be. I think that Luffy, the final battle is going to be like Emu and the world government actually fighting against the combined might of pirates and the Marines, led by with Luffy leading the charge.
Okay, the Marines are going to turn on them.
Yeah, I think that I don't think Akainu is going to turn good. At least I hope I hope he doesn't. I'm not gonna lie. I think that at first they're going to fight the Marines. Like the admirals and Akainu are going to be defeated, and then Luffy is going to convince the rest of the Marines to unite with them, him and the rest of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet and whatever pirates might join them, and then they're going to fight against the world government.
See, like, I think that would be wild, but what holds me back from that is if the Marines did turn on the world government and they partnered with the pirates and the Revs, right?
Yeah.
It almost seems like the world government has no chance because it would just be like the Holy Knights, the Gorsei, and Emu versus pretty much the entirety of the Marines, the entirety of pirates, the entirety of the Revs. They would be severely outnumbered.
I mean, maybe, but honestly,
hey, but you know what? Emu could use Diabolical Covenant on like tons of people and then flip them over.
Right,
so
that is true.
In the playing field.
Yeah, and who knows? Like this whole thing with the you think about this, like you're also forgetting it would technically be Emu, the girl saying the Holy Knights, and also the Cyberpole, and also the Seraphim. Like we don't even know the full potential of the Seraphim for real though. But if you think about it, they have a lot of potential. Like right now, they're still children.
You're right. They do have insane potential. And I like how you pointed out that they're still children because there's that dialogue in Egghead Island where I forgot who it was, but someone said Oh yeah, and they're still children. Imagine when they grow up. And then Oda like quickly changed the setting. He like interrupted that conversation. It makes
Yeah,
me think like, is there gonna be a way where they're aged up? Because that would be a severe problem, bro. Who's stopping S Hawk? Like adult S Hawk? That's a problem.
that is. Especially now that we know that they can use hockey on top of everything they got. You know, like one they all have Lunarian DNA. We all know that. But then you think about the fact that I think they also all maybe have Buccaneer DNA. And then you got like S Shark who has Fishman DNA on top of that. And it's almost like they're trying to create the ultimate being. That's why I actually almost had the theory at one point that maybe this is leading to like a One Piece equivalent of Cell, like the ultimate being. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're approaching 2 hours and 30 minutes, brother. Is there anything else you want to share with us today? Any other theories or questions?
And one more. It's about Rokushiki. I mean, one of the reasons why I love One Piece is gotta be one of the most diverse fighting mangas I've seen with all these different warriors of species and fighting style and power systems. You know, obviously, with Devil Fruits and Hockey being the main two. But one of my favorites one of my favorite fighting styles and from here is Rokushiki. That's my favorite actually. And I'm like, I wish they would put more emphasis on Rokushiki. I'm not gonna lie. I wish we would see more people do it. I wish Luffy, he knows Shave. I wish he just knew all of them. Yeah, he doesn't have to be like this Rokushiki master. Maybe he could just know all of them to a basic level and mix it in with his like freestyle of combat. I wish we saw more Rokushiki, especially since it goes so well with hockey. Like hockey, hockey you can use hockey with anything, but Rokushiki in particular just goes so well with it. That's why I say like almost like Rokushiki was created to be used in conjunction with hockey, like the physical power to match the willpower. And if you're a Rokushiki user who doesn't use hockey, you're not a true Rokushiki user. You know what I mean?
Hey, in that same vein, I like the idea of like you said, Kobe using Rokushiki, mixing it with hockey. Because, like, as far as I understand, CP9, in Eni's lobby, I don't think they were mixing hockey with Rokushiki. If you mixed hockey with Rokushiki, that would be very strong.
Exactly.
Give Kobe some Rokushiki, let him mix it with hockey, and he's going to be a problem.
For sure. And then same with Luffy if he were to learn the other ones too.
Yeah. See, with Luffy, like I would love that. It's just like I would have to, like, in my head, how would I bridge between Luffy and Rokushiki? At least, like, the CP9 works for the government, Marines work for the government, so maybe there could be a bridge there. So that's why I say Kobe. But I don't know. Maybe if Luffy mixed Rokushiki plus hockey plus Gear 5, that might be insane.
It would be. So yeah, that's the only thing I want to talk about.
It's good chopping it up with you, man. If we'll try to do these open mic streams on the break weeks at least, but hopefully you'll be around and we'll get you back in.
Yeah, for sure. If you do another live with Hime or Chestnut, tell them Terrence said hi.
All right, brother. Take care, man. God bless.
Yeah, you too.
All right. So, chat. Great time, guys. We are at 2 hours and 30 minutes. To those of you that have not heard, I'm bringing it back up, guys. New weekly stream series, guys. This guy brought a nuke into the building. New weekly stream series, chat. New weekly stream series. We will be rereading the entire One Piece manga, guys. entire One Piece manga every Saturday. Okay, I hope you guys are looking forward to this. I hope you guys are excited for this. We will be starting this Saturday. Currently, for me, it's June 12th. It just turned midnight, but starting Saturday, June 14th, this Saturday, every Saturday, I need you guys to join me live to explore from chapter 1 to the latest release. Okay. Deep dive into hidden clues, foreshadowing, and Easter eggs. We're going to theorize with the chat on epic twists. I don't want you guys to miss out. Okay? What we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the early arcs, the early chapters of One Piece with this new fresh lens of currently being at chapter 1151, guys. When was the last time you guys reread One Piece? I want to know. I'm sure there's a lot of people in here that haven't even reread. And I'm not trying to down talk you guys, but you guys, you started at chapter 1 or episode 1, you got all the way to the modern One Piece world, and then you just kept reading weekly. When was the last time you guys reread? Because imagine with all of this knowledge we have about Nika, Joy Boy, Emu, E-Myth, all of this stuff. Imagine you guys were able to reread One Piece with that lens. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be amazing. Guys, I'm going to put the link to this tweet in the chat. I want you guys, if you have a Twitter account, guys, like this tweet, retweet this tweet. It's going to be a big series. Does anyone have any guesses on as to how long it's going to take us to catch up? I want to know, because what we're probably going to do is each stream, I'm going to try to do at least 2 hours and try to really focus in on the chapters we're reading, right? I don't want to get too distracted, pulling up the wiki, pulling up other chapters. I want to try my best to focus on the chapters at hand. That way we could get a good amount of chapters in each stream. So if anyone has any guesses on how many episodes it's going to take until we reach the modern One Piece chapters, let me know, because I'm looking forward to this. But L with the 2, God bless you, brother. Thank you. L says, what memes you got for me, Brody? Because you Yamakad right now. Am I getting grilled in Discord right now? Is that what's going on? Is L trying to ruin my night, guys? Did he post memes to make fun of me and hurt my feelings? Because I think, yep, he did. L is trying to ruin my night, chat. We're going to check out the memes that L has to say. Thank you, L. God bless you, brother. Thank you for the 2. And then we also have RBBP with the 2. God bless. He says, or do we have to make them for you? Wait. What do you mean, or do we have to make them for you? What are you talking about? Or do we have to make them for you? What do you mean by that? Evil really told the barber, let me get that toy soldier stash. Why are you laughing? Chat, do I have the toy soldier stash? Is that me? You know what, L? This is why I can't stand you. You got Sanji holding Zoro and Luffy. Okay, this is just trash. He said my goat. You know what? You're getting a big fat L. Oh my God, bro. Where's the L emoji? Yeah, there you go. We don't chat. Go to my Discord and make sure you rate this meme as an L, please. I mog L and RBBP. W take. Truth nuke. When chat tries to rush evil during the stream, they hate us because they hate us. Yo, this is me every stream, RBBP. This is me, bro. This is me. I'm trying to take my sweet time. I'm trying to talk to the chat. I'm trying to take my time with the spoilers. I'm trying to take my time with the chapter. We got people rushing me. Like, dang, bro. Shout out to L and RBBP. Farewell, evil. I'll leave the meme war to you, my son. Yeah, right. Hey, Smokey is not going to abandon his boy. Me and Smokey are locked in like a key in the door. You're not going to separate us. If Smokey's not on my team in the next meme war, I think it's over for me. It might be over. It might actually be over. Then you got L going Oh my God, bro.
beat your ass.
This guy, bro. Why him? Why? I'm not even gonna say his name. Why him? How long did this take to edit? This probably took forever. Really? L. Wait, why is it Law's hand right here? Oh, room. He roomed St. Charles there. L, you're not funny, man. You are not a funny guy. Team Evil and Smokey, Weenie Hut Juniors, TL and RBBP, Salty Spittoon. Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you? Oh, yo, this is a great meme. This is a great meme. If you guys don't know about Weenie Hut Juniors and Salty Spittoon, you probably didn't have a childhood. Then we got L punching me with agendas. That's pretty much it. Every stream with the stupid, horrendous agendas. The dog water agendas by L. God bless you, Black Star. Evil, I noticed you liked my comment in regards to Loki and Gunko resembling the two cats sitting on the pillow in 861 cover art. Do you think that's them? I mean, it's fun to think about, but you know, nowadays, bro, like when I really buy into like a theory or foreshadowing, it has to really like invigorate me, or it has to have like a bunch of other supplemental or supplementary evidences, you know? So I would say that's like one of those takes where it's like I could see it happening, but I really want to, you know, I need something to make me really get invested behind the theory. Also, I need to take a look back at 861 cover art. I'm not gonna lie. My memory's kind of hazy, bro, because I was going through a lot of comments. I was looking at all sorts of stuff, bro. This past week, an immense amount of content. Let me pull it up right now, actually. So, because you said Loki and Gunko as the cats. So, what was it again? Loki and Gunko. I forgot which ones. You might have to remind me, brother. I'm not gonna lie. Raymond says, have you heard of the Golden Dawn old group chat that practiced alchemy? Or an old group, I don't know why I read that as group chat. Old group that practiced alchemy and was buried in history. I think they might relate to the D-Clan. Alchemy only talked about in a filler arc. No, I don't remember that at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you saying that Golden Dawn is a filler arc of One Piece? Or are you saying that there's a filler arc in One Piece that had alchemy? Because that actually sounds really, really interesting. I really want to look at that. But in terms of alchemy, I don't know. Am I the only one that, like, when I hear about alchemy, I instantly think like black magic, witchcraft, stuff like that? Because if that's the case, then I feel like it's more like Emu in line with alchemy, especially with black magic and witchcraft. They like using stones a lot. They like using sapphires. We think about the sapphire scales disease. Then alchemy, don't they mess around with jewels and minerals and stuff like that too? So it kind of makes sense to me. The far Loki is the male cat on the left. Gunko is a female cat on the right. Okay, hold on. So Loki's this one and Gunko is this one. Or is it this one? Or is it, wait, bottom left or the top left? Oh, is this Gunko because you only see one eye? Bro sounds so defeated. I'm not defeated. Don't count the kid out. They're both staring at each other. Wait. The left and the right staring at each other. Oh, this one. Loki and Gunko. Okay. Raymond, I'm going to have to check that out. Golden or filler arc that had. Wait, so I'm sorry. Is that arc called Golden Dawn or is it called something else? I want to know. What? It was a historical group. Okay, I want to know what arc was it, or what episode was it when they did the alchemy, because that's interesting. Call off the meme war, Brody. You ain't built for war. I am built for war. You're gonna try me? Look what happened to that guy who was in the chat earlier barking. He didn't even join the StreamYard. Bro came in the chat just wow, 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 like a chihuahua. That's how I'm gonna treat you, El. That's how I'm gonna do you, boy. Pause. Alchemy was normally used to create life and good, but practiced for dark purposes. I think this relates to them stealing the power of the ancient kingdom. Yeah, that's interesting. I like that. Raymond. And Black Star, I'm gonna have to think some more about this because this is pretty interesting. Loki and Gunko staring each other down. Hey, foreshadowing the battle, bro. They're foreshadowing the battle. But guys, I think this is where we're going to wrap it up, chat. I wish everyone here a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you are. Guys, we didn't even pray before the stream. We definitely have to pray now, chat. We definitely have to pray now. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed the open mic. Maybe we can make this a series. Anytime there's a break week, we'll do an open mic stream to predict the next chapter, as well as just like theories and questions and stuff like that. Hope you guys enjoyed. God bless everyone for being here. As I said earlier, guys, this Saturday, we're starting a brand new series on the channel, guys. Brand new live stream series where we reread the entire One Piece manga starting from chapter 1, guys. It's going to be a blast. You guys are going to probably be so excited. You're like thinking like, oh, I can't wait till we reach Marineford. Oh, I can't wait till we reach Enies Lobby. Guys, we're going to go on a One Piece journey together. Don't miss it. Starting this Saturday, June 14th, every Saturday, we will be streaming what I will call episodes where we reread the entirety of One Piece. So look forward to that, chat. Thank you all for being here. We're going to go live next, guys, for 11:52 short summary spoilers, 11:52 long summary spoilers. Or actually, no. The next stream is actually going to be the reread. Yeah. We're going to go live on this Saturday, guys. It's Thursday for me. It's midnight. It's 12:44. We're going to go live this Saturday for the first episode of the One Piece reread series here on the channel where we reread the story. Then Tuesday, long or short summary spoilers. Thursday, long summary spoilers. Friday, TCB reaction. Saturday, episode 2 of the reread series. And then Sunday, official chapter reaction. So as you guys can see, if we have a week and there's going to be a chapter, that means a short summary spoiler, long summary spoiler, TCB fan translation, official chapter reaction, and the reread episode. We might have to cut back. I don't know, 5 streams a week. That's kind of crazy. Standy Man with the 19 months. God bless, brother. Thank you so much. Standy Man asks, you working on any vids? Yes, I am. And it's extremely difficult. And I think Abigna was asking as well. I didn't get around to that question. Yes, I am currently working on a video, and it's very, very difficult scripting it out because I'm a perfectionist, even though I always fall short of perfection, right? I really want it to be watertight. I really want it to make sense. I basically have 5 separate theories that I've posted on Twitter the past year and a half, 2 years. And I feel like these 5 theories can come into one and be a full comprehensive mega theory. Obviously, if you guys have followed me on Twitter for, the past year and a half, 2 years, you guys know that I've posted tons of theories, but I find that 5 of them work very, very good together. Okay. One of them is Shandora being the ancient kingdom. The next one is about how Shandora and the moon had a mother flame in Nika. The third one is about how Emu is the devil. The fourth one is about how a Nerona king did the operation of perpetual youth on himself and Satan entered the body, creating Emu. And the fifth one is about how Emu is the king of the ancient kingdom and the brother of Joy Boy. Okay. So I hate to spoil it all. I pretty much just spoiled all of it. But you guys don't know my reasoning. You guys don't know the foreshadowing. You guys don't know the scholastic method. Perfected by I in the OP community. I'm just kidding. But look forward to that, guys. It's very, very difficult to try to, because I don't want it to be a video where it's like, okay, theory 1, let's talk about it. Okay, theory 2, let's talk about it. Okay, theory 3, let's talk about it. Okay, theory 4, let's talk about it. I don't want to do that. I want all 5 theories to look like one theory, a mega theory. And I really, really want to do that because that's what I want to do. Circular reasoning, right? So be patient with me, guys. We will be doing that. I appreciate you guys tuning into the streams. You know, I'm pretty much a One Piece live streamer, you know, given my circumstance. I still have to work out, you know, getting my equipment back fully. Chat, I've been extremely busy, man. But thank you guys. God bless you all. L with the 2. Thank you, brother. God bless. Last meme, I swear, check Discord. It's about theories. Okay, hold on. L is telling me to check a theory or check a meme about theories. You made a meme about theories. Hi, Goat. Been a while since I saw your last video. Sorry for not being there because of my elbow surgery. Hey, hi, random YouTube user. God bless you. I hope your surgery went well. I hope you heal and you recover at miraculous speed. He says, sorry for not being there because of my elbow surgeries. I hope you've been doing all right. I hope you've been doing wonderful, brother. Thank you. You need to step up your theories, little bro. Hold this for me until you become a good theorist. Uteron putting the straw hat on me? Wait, I'm not sharing the... I thought I was sharing the meme. Guys, look at this meme L made, this bozo. He put Uteron... Hold on. He put Uteron's face, and it says, you need to step up your theories, little bro. Then he puts the straw hat on me. You hold this for me until you become a good theorist. You know what, L? Like, you're just not funny. You're just a terrible person. We want nothing to do with you. Why are you laughing, Dawn of Ascension? This is not funny. This is international bullying. I'm not even in America. Not funny, L. Thank you for the super chat. God bless. You too, Otez. Guys, it's almost the 3-hour mark. We're going to wrap this up here, chat. We're going to wrap this up here with a beautiful prayer. Okay. You know what? Kuma Church. This is what we're going to use. We're going to have Kuma praying in a church. Okay. This is what we're going to use, chat. I guess we got the Reddit watermark. Why not? All right, chat. We're gonna get on. We're gonna get here. We're gonna get on with a prayer, and I will see you guys for the first episode of the One Piece live stream reread series this Saturday, every Saturday, where we start at chapter 1 of One Piece, and we read all the way to the current One Piece chapter. It's gonna take a long time, but we're gonna reread the entirety of One Piece together on live stream. And we're going to reread the story and analyze the early One Piece storyline with the knowledge we have now about Emu, Nika, Joy Boy, Ancient Kingdom, etc. So without further ado, chat, we're going to get our prayer and head on out. All right. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord, Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born before all ages. God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, consubstantial with the Father. Through him all things are made. For us men and for our salvation, he came down from heaven, and by the Holy Spirit was incarnate of the Virgin Mary and became man. For our sake, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered death and was buried. And on the third day, he rose again in accordance with the scriptures. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father, and he will come again in glory to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom will have no end. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Father and the Son, who with the Father and the Son is adored and is glorified, who has spoken through the prophets. I believe in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. I confess one baptism for the forgiveness of sins, and I look forward to the resurrection of the living and the dead and the world to come. Amen. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. O my Jesus, forgive us our sins, save us from the fires of hell, lead all souls into heaven, especially those in most need of thy mercy. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. O blessed Trinity, the only true God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, same substance of three distinct yet related persons. How I glorify you above all. I love you. I revere you above everything that could possibly exist. Thank you for another day of life. For me, my family members, my friends, my beautiful chat. Thank you for giving us the experience of life. Thank you for letting us enjoy water and good drinks and food and one piece. All of the blessings you bestow upon us, we thank you and we glorify you for all the good that you do, because we know that all of the good in this world at its ultimate supreme source comes from you, God, O Christ Jesus. I have sinned in my thoughts and my words, in what I have done and what I have failed to do, through my fault, through my most grievous fault. I seek your mercy without any excuse of my own. I beg for your forgiveness, because I wish to be perfectly reconciled with you, O blessed Trinity. Please wash me in the blood of Christ. Wash me and sanctify me and strengthen me in the precious blood of Christ, who is truly present, body, blood, soul, and divinity in the Eucharist. Please, Christ, never permit me to be away from you. Never, ever allow me to be comfortable without having my mind set on you, Christ. Never allow me to prosper if you're not reigning in my heart and in my mind. Lord Christ Jesus, I fully submit to you all of my social media accounts, all of my money, everything in my possession, both tangibly and intangibly, is all yours. It's all for you, Christ Jesus. I do it all for you to bring glory to you. I bring glory to your name. I'm sorry I fall short, and I can never praise you enough, because you are the only true God who came down into human timeline, who took on and put on human flesh to suffer on a cross. How could I ever give you enough praise? Christ, please forgive me for my sins and draw me closer to you. Please protect all of my friends and all my supporters and all of my family members, and even all the people who don't like me, and even the people that blaspheme against you, Christ Jesus. Anyone who blasphemes against you, I ask that you forgive them. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Please bring them to you. I hope I'm one of the 99 sheep. Bring another lost sheep to you. Please help fill them with the Holy Spirit to bring them closer to you, bring them into the flock, so we can party and we can rejoice at the lost sheep coming to the true shepherd, the good shepherd who lays his life down for his sheep. That's you, Jesus Christ. Please protect our tongues. Don't allow us to speak evil. Don't allow us to think evil. Don't allow us to sin in our thoughts. Allow us to be holy and clean and pure, so that we can uplift the world and reflect you, Jesus Christ. We know every time someone reflects love, truth, and beauty, and honesty, and compassion, and patience, and wisdom, and peace, they're reflecting you, Christ Jesus. Please strengthen me. Please protect my health. Please protect my supporters' health. If they're going through financial troubles, God, please take care of them and provide. If they're going through health problems, Lord Jesus Christ, please heal them. If they're going through insecurity problems or self-doubt problems, Lord, please fill them with courage, bravery, and resilience. Whatever issues that my supporters and my friends might be struggling with, Christ Jesus, I know you are the one and only answer. I pray as their intercessor that you will give them exactly what it is that they need, not what they desire, but what they need, Christ Jesus. And I know it's you. I glorify you above all things. I send my spirit and I entrust it up to you. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Amen. Peace, chat.